Hello and welcome to episode 217 of the Round Nintendo podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Angel.
I'm Kevin, I think.
You're uncertain?
Right now I am.
Are you okay?
Existential crisis, man.
Yeah, I'm going through some stuff right now. Just don't look at me.
Well, good thing this is audio. No one can look at you. Well, I hope everything turns out okay for you, Kevin. How do you transition from that to this episode's about puzzle games? No, but this episode we're calling it...
I'm in a puzzled state right now.
Yeah, life is a puzzle.
Life is a puzzle, and we're going to solve it together, I guess. Well, it's actually more about crossovers and puzzle games. That's sort of
Dude, if you could solve life in this episode...
Could you imagine if, we solved life in
If you can solve all my problems, that'd be
one
great.
episode of a podcast?
There's a couch right there. I can lay on it. You can ask me questions about my life.
Should we do a spin-off podcast, Random Kevin? Just about what you're going through. No? Okay, well, in that case, this episode...
Why do you think dinosaurs are okay?
Are okay?
I guess.
Who thinks they're not okay?
That's an inside joke.
Oh, no wonder. I was
You'll
not
be
on
part
the
of one.
inside.
You'll be
I
part
was
of one
not
day.
I know. I'm counting down the days till it happens. 30 years and still not. No, but we're calling this episode Mixed and Match in honor of two things. One is the puzzles, as I mentioned. We're going to talk about puzzle games, including a new one for Switch called Day and Night that we've been playing. So that's the matched half. And then the mixed half is the other thing we're talking about a lot, is there's been like a crossover palooza in the last couple of weeks of all these different games that are just mashing up different characters in different ways. So there's Zelda and Mario Maker 2, there's Sonic and Super Monkey Ball, there's different announcements that have come out. So we're just going to kind of share impressions of those and talk about that a bit.
Yeah, Mega Man's also in Dragalia
Yes,
Lost.
he is, which we'll talk about too. It's very strange that in the last couple of weeks
that's
it's been a...
There's a weird Daemon X Machina.
Yes, with The Witcher, which we're also going to cover.
Oh,
it's a lot of stuff. Plus we have, of course, more general news.
Resident Evil
like,
2 and Monster Hunter.
That's been a thing for a little while. But yes,
it
same
happened
idea.
Like a month ago, but I wanted to say Resident Evil 2.
You just need to squeeze it in.
Dude, I can't wait for that review of Resident Evil 3.
Tuesday and State of Play on PlayStation's thing, probably.
Man, can't wait.
It's supposedly going to be announced before the Game Awards, which means it has to be this coming Tuesday. So anyone listening after Tuesday can tell me I'm right.
Upgraded Mr.
Are the Game Awards on Tuesday?
They're on Thursday, but State of Play is on Tuesday. Where it'll probably be announced, if I had to guess.
I'm just excited about the potential with Nemesis, seeing what they did with Mr. X, and then now they have a whole city to work with. It could be way scarier.
Every time I hear Mr. X, I think Mr. F. Every time. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Well, you're the only other one here, I guess. I don't get the reference.
Yes, you do. You've watched
You watched Arrested Development, haven't you?
Once a long time ago.
What? You've seen the whole series, you liar.
I mean,
that's right. I saw the series once.
You don't remember any of season 3 where they kept doing Mr. F?
Mr. F.
I guess not.
It was his
British. Not British.
Charlie. Yeah, I mean it was Charlie Theron.
Yeah,
playing a British person.
Huh? I don't remember.
You don't remember the? Oh man.
I remember the sad Michael Cera music every time he walked away.
Well, that's just a meme. I mean, I could go on the internet and reference illusions.
I mean, I guess I can remember the funny stuff. I don't know.
Okay, never mind Kevin's intervention. It's now your intervention, because how do you not remember such a great show? But anyway, we have all that this episode.
No, I remember the show. I just don't remember that specific joke.
Doesn't matter. It was a running gag. You should remember it. No, but we have.
I'm sure if I see it, I'll be
I rewatch Arrested Development once a year. Seasons 1 through 3 because.
I was gonna say, do you watch 4 and 5?
No, I don't watch 4 and 5. I have yet to see 5.
Same, which is weird because I love 1, 2, and 3, and I was okay with 4.
Yeah, you were.
I was also okay with 4.
I watched it multiple times in college, and then I
didn't watch it until after college.
I met Mitch Hurwitz and have his autograph on a poster of Arrested Development, and he's a very nice man.
Did you see the stair car at the Groves?
I saw the stair car. There's a picture of me with the stair car somewhere, and yet haven't watched season 5.
Yeah, I don't think I loved the show. I mean, it's not way post-college. I thought I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. Whenever the 4th season came out. I literally thought
that was 5 years ago. That was 2013 or 14.
I saw a couple weeks before that, and I mean I enjoyed it enough to keep going, but
yeah. They reworked season 4. It's actually a different show. You know what? We're getting way
I definitely had a lot of this is where this is from.
Yeah,
because I mean a lot of memes and jokes are from that.
We're beyond a tangent. I don't know what this is, but I'm going to
Final Countdown. Definitely can't hear it the same, even though I like that song beforehand.
Exactly. Point is, there's timestamps for all these topics on Nintendo.com.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're here for a Nintendo podcast.
No, but stick around. Yeah, we are a Nintendo podcast. We also have news about Switch's Black Friday and new Super Nintendo games on Switch and stuff
like
that.
To Resident Evil?
We found a way.
No, he found a way.
When Season 4 was announced,
Mr. X.
When Season 4 of Arrested Development was announced, the TV board on 4chan literally played the final countdown in the background because everybody was so excited. And then Season 4 came out, and it was okay at best.
Yeah.
So manage your
That's
expectations,
the one where
everybody. What?
it was like just like every episode was from the perspective of someone.
Yeah, because they only had one day to film with everyone, so they're like, well,
Oh,
what
geez.
if? What if?
Interesting.
And then they restructured it, so instead of being from each person's perspective, they intermixed the scenes. So it's the same season, they just changed the order of the scenes, and apparently it's better as a result. But
All right. Anyway,
the point is, guys, there are timestamps.
What an intro.
The real
this
point,
is why there's timestamps.
The real point, actually, is stick around to the end if you can put up with us not sticking to a topic, because we have both the winners of our current anniversary contest to announce, and we have a new contest to announce with 3 more winners to be picked next episode. So you're going to want to at least jump to the end if you can't put up with our tangents. But normally we're pretty on topic, and normally we begin discussing with news. You know, we start with the news, and then we kind of gradually make our way into what we're playing. But I feel like more so than usual, what we're playing is the news. I mean, not the fact that we're playing, that's not news. But the kind of big surprise since our last episode was the unexpected update, version 2 of Super Mario Maker 2. It comes with a pretty awesome crossover in the form of Link as a playable character, and I've been playing it. So I feel like we might as well kind of just launch into what we're playing, because that's what I've been playing. So,
okay.
Oh, also, I think I forgot to mention, we also have impressions of Monkey Ball and Ring Fit Adventure from Angel's perspective this time throughout the episode. So they're sprinkled in like little treats as you go. But yeah, Mario Maker 2. As the resident, well, really the only, I think I'm the only one of the 3 of us that owns Mario Maker 2. I believe it's my duty to report to the group in the room and the larger audience at home how it is, how Link is, and I'm happy to report it is as cool as you would think it would be. It might actually be more cool than you think.
Great.
It's actually,
right.
Yep, it's great. All right, so next topic. No, but it is actually pretty cool. It's like at a basic level, here's how it works. You turn into Link if you grab the Master Sword item. And then on top of the normal running and jumping, you can hit B to use his sword, the shoulder button to fire his arrows from a bow, up on the control stick plus B to grab a bomb and throw it, or you can hit down on your sword when you're in the air and you do a downward strike. So already you have quadruple the moves that you would normally have.
Yeah,
as
they
Mario.
jammed a lot into.
They jammed a lot, and what it allows for, and what you can already find in like bountiful numbers on Course World, where all the custom courses are, is a ton of really cool new level ideas. Because essentially what we got for free with this update is a 2D Zelda maker, or really like a Zelda 2 Adventures of Link maker, or I guess alternatively a 2D 4 Swords maker, because not only does it work with one Link, you can do it with 4 Links, and they're the 4 Swords colors if you play online or off, and you can do puzzles where they go different places.
That's a nice little touch.
So yeah, so it's actually really cool. And what I kind of realized when toying around with the Link power-up and the courses people already made is because Mario Maker already has such a full set of tools, it kind of lends itself already to be a game for 2D Zelda dungeons. Like, it already is basically there. Because, like, really, if you think about it, the entire idea of, like, the Ghost House in the Mario series is kind of like the very basic, stripped-down Zelda dungeon. You know, you have different rooms you need to navigate. There's usually a light puzzle here and there. And then eventually you find your way out. And that's kind of the whole Ghost Room thing, which Mario Maker has. And Mario Maker kind of took the idea further. You know, it has trigger events you can do. You can get keys for doors, all that good stuff.
Yeah, switches and blah, blah,
Switches,
blah.
blocks, all sorts of stuff. And it really just kind of took what was the Ghost House idea and made it more of a fully fleshed out thing within Mario. And then on top of that, you now have Zelda. So it just kind of makes sense. I mean, like, the game already was accommodating for this. There's a puzzle tag in Course World. You can find levels that are strictly just more puzzle-based. And I have the Zelda stuff on top. So now if you take that with the Zelda stuff, what you get is Zelda, essentially. I mean, obviously it's not as in-depth as, say, Ocarina of Time or anything like that, but the Link power abilities do actually lend themselves to some, like, genuine puzzles. There's one course I did appropriately. I didn't make it, I played it. Appropriately enough, it's called Beginner Hero Training. It's currently the #1 course on Course World for anyone who wants to check it out. And it really does a good job of just demonstrating, like, how well integrated Link's abilities could be into the Mario structure. Like, there's multiple rooms, each around a different item. So you have one where you need to place or throw bombs to clear obstacles. You have another where you need to shoot on-off switches, or the update's new P-block switch, and that will open paths going forward. Or you have to, like, alternate doing that with bombs to kind of clear gates as you go. And this wasn't like a simple go tap the switch, you're done sort of thing. Link's bow, because it's chargeable, it has range. So if you hold down the shoulder button more, you can actually arc the arrow differently. You can shoot it further. You can jump and shoot it. You can do short shots, long shots, and all of that can factor into actual puzzles and how you go about figuring out how to deal with these switches and whatnot. And, as you're doing all these things in this one level, for example, you're going to different rooms, you're trying to find the key. Eventually you find the room with the key, and then you go back into kind of like the lobby, much like in a Zelda dungeon where they have like the central part where everything branches off of, and then there's a boss door, and then you go through the boss door, and sure enough, there's Bowser, and it's supposed to be Ganon, but there's Bowser, and then you just kind of are playing Zelda, and that's sort of what like summarizes the and beauty is not the right word, but like the cool factor of this whole thing. The beauty of this update is that like it's not like Mario Maker 2 now is Zelda, but it offers just enough similarity in its level design options and adding Link and his abilities to differentiate from Mario enough that it does feel like a separate thing and actually kind of capture the vibe of Zelda and capture that kind of like spirit. And it also opens up the door to a lot of unique ideas that maybe aren't typical Zelda. I don't know if anyone's done this yet, but here's a free idea because I'm never going to build a level. It's too much time and I'm bad at building things. 2D Link's crossbow training. Like if you have a bow and you can control how much it can shoot, like how the distance it can shoot and the impact it can have, and you have these auto-running levels that people build where you're just kind of on a conveyor belt, why not make a target gallery and why not basically do Link's crossbow training? I'm sure if it's not already created, someone's going to do it already.
I'm sure it's already created.
Yeah, yeah.
But like just like something like that, like there's so many possibilities when you just introduce these Link mechanics that are.
But you came up with the idea too, so that's pretty impressive.
Thanks. No, but you get my point though. It's not just like it's gonna be like, oh, they're making Zelda dungeons. Like you can get kind of creative with it, and that's really cool. And it's just. Like,
I mean, I can't wait to see someone replicate an actual Zelda dungeon, like. Not just like translating how it would look in 2D, which would be cool too to see. It's like, oh, this is literally what it would be like if this was an actual 2D level, but actually go in there and somehow still make it play like an actual Zelda dungeon, even though it's like, 2D and not top down.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying.
Because someone's gonna do it. I mean, probably with like, I don't know, maybe the copter. I forgot what it's called, the Bowser copter.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Just to give you that whole like top down, like up down.
Right. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, and I mean, people
are crazy, so
I wouldn't be surprised. It's only a matter of time before Zelda 2 gets actually recreated in this because they're side-scrolling segments in Zelda 2. The whole game's side-scrolling. But
if you get hit as Link, do you just turn back into Mario?
So that's the one downside that I wanted to bring up. Is yes, Nintendo's approach here is that because it's a power-up.
It's a power-up.
Yeah, meaning if you take a hit, you lose it. And if you touch an enemy or get hit by an object, you're suddenly Mario again. Which, isn't the end of the world. I mean, the music's no longer the cool Zelda music. There's actually 3 different Zelda songs that I've found so far that you can change. So, like, if you're underground, it could be one Zelda song. If you're above ground, it's another. Like, whenever you have the power-up, it actually switches everything over. But, so that's gone. But the bigger issue is if you're Mario and you're in a level that's designed for the Master Sword power-up and all Link's abilities.
And if you get hit... what do you do? That's interesting.
The onus is now on the level creator to actually
constantly be putting swords all over.
Exactly. And not just have them all over, but have them respawn. Like do it in a way where they come out of a pipe or come out of a thing and are constantly available versus a one and done block. So that's kind of a weird choice on Nintendo's part that the onus is now on the creator to remember to have enough Master Swords. I feel like what would have been ideal, or at least as an option where they can maybe set in the tools.
So like an actual character select?
Kind of. Like if you power up into Link, you just stay as Link for the rest of the level. I feel like that would be ideal for them to really let people flex their, Zelda creativity and getting people to play a fake Zelda, so to speak. But,
well, I guess there are already tons of levels that require you not to get hit just in general.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Could be the same deal.
Yeah.
And like the level I was referencing, that beginner hero training, did a really good job of, they had a Master Sword in like every corner of every room and it was always respawning. So it's just something I need to be mindful of. But I feel bad for people that they're designing a level and then on every single screen they have to go, oh right, Master Sword, where can I put that and actually like build that in? Where it could just be a toggle.
I can't wait to see some of the nightmares that some of these creators are going to make.
That's true. I do love seeing like the ridiculous hard levels and watching people beat them. But yeah, that's gonna be.
Yeah, I think stuff like the bomb is gonna get really abused because the thing with the bomb is like in Zelda, it has a time limit and then it explodes. So I can see so many people setting up traps where you throw the bomb, but then the bomb ends up coming back at you, or you get stuck with the bomb, and what do you do? And you're far in this level, and then they just troll you with a "you're gonna die no matter what" situation. But yeah, people are gonna have fun with this. It's really cool though. Like it's a significant difference. It didn't seem like it would be from a little 4-minute video, but it's actually pretty notable.
I wonder if this was always planned, or if this was a reaction to everybody hating the Dungeon Maker in Link's Awakening.
My guess is this was probably already planned. I say that for 2 reasons. One is this is a lot to pump out in 6 weeks since Link's Awakening came out, and no one knew just how much they'd hate Dungeon Maker until it was out.
Which is unfortunate.
But hate's a strong word. It's just very bleh. But the other reason I think that is because this is also kind of a replacement for those costumes from the first game that they got rid of. They had...
I mean, if that means that every time they add someone, like, I feel like it's another time before they add, like, an 8-bit like Samus, and then,
that would be so
give
cool.
them Morph Ball and Screw Attack.
Well, you know what's interesting is, if they do that, they should, in my opinion at least, like you're saying, have custom gameplay tied in. Like, the mechanics need to change, too. But Morph Ball is actually... I know Morph Ball could work, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much just being able to crouch while moving.
I was going to say, like, it'd be cool if they went a little above and beyond and did, like, the Spider Ball from Metroid Prime, and you can actually climb walls and stuff. Or, like, give her grappling hook, and you can actually swing from places. Like, stuff that really shakes up the game in real ways.
Yeah, but, I mean, they would have to do Super Mid. I mean, because, like, I guess that Link isn't really sticking to...
No, that Link has moves that...
No, yeah.
I mean, he's only in the 8-bit style, and I imagine if they do, like, Metroid, it would only be in the Super Mario World style, and then they could do one that's only in the, like, 3D World style, just so everyone has their own. But, yeah, I think... what this made me realize is, like, the crazier they get with some of the new mechanics, the cooler it could be. Like, I said, like, a grapple hook would be cool, or, like, if you could climb walls. I will miss, like, it's a trade-off. I'm gonna miss the weird costumes from the first one, or I do miss the weird costumes from the first one, like Slender Mario, or, like, Mario driving his little 8-bit Mercedes SUV, which is so stupid, but I just love it. But these are gameplay-altering ones are way better in the long run. I guess besides Samus, who'd you want to see? Because, like...
Well, actually, that's Samus.
Just Samus?
I mean, I can't really think of anyone off the top of my head.
I think a cool one would be
Bowser. Let him play like he did in Mario Odyssey when he jumps. He's heavy, shoots fire.
Yeah, you could do that. I was going to say Kirby might be a cool one, because think about how they can introduce his mechanics, too. I mean, floating, obviously.
Infinite jumps. I mean, that's already makes it so you pretty much have to have a ceiling in every level.
But not only that, but, like, imagine if they did, like, a rudimentary form of his copy ability, where you can actually inhale an enemy and gain some of its characteristics. Like, for example, this update has... Spike and Pokey introduced to it. So the little guy that throws the spike balls and the little cactus. So imagine if, like, you're Kirby and you suck up Spike, and now you too can have a new projectile with the physics of the spike ball or the snowball on the snow levels. Or if you're Pokey, you have needles sticking out of you and you can walk into enemies that aren't armored, like Goombas, but you still need to get creative around enemies that are armored, or like a swamp or whatever. Like, there's a lot of
if they want to get lazy, they could just make it Kirby which he can't
do anything.
It doesn't have a copy ability.
See, but I don't think they're going to, because I think they're opening the door for some really cool stuff. Like, if you want to get real crazy, like, Nintendo can have a lot of fun with this. Like, you want to blow the minds of people? Sonic. They have a good partnership with Sega. Imagine, like, speedrunning's a huge part of the game already.
Damn.
Version 2 introduced the dash block, right? Specifically for speedrunning. So what if they just go one step further and they just basically do Sonic with speed? Yeah, like, have his spin dash, have his, all that. And then what's cool with that is if they were to do that, the same way that Link is kind of like not an olive branch, but kind of enhances the already existing puzzle levels, they could Sonic enhance the already existing, or the already community built around speedrunning. So, like, there's a lot of ideas they could do if they want to get real crazy. And then they could tie it in with game releases. Like, they could totally, if they want to have, or any release, they could have Sonic come out around the time of the movie. They could have Kirby with the next Kirby game. They could have Samus. There's the rumors back, Metroid Prime Trilogy coming next year, supposedly.
Might as well ignore it at this point, then.
Right. But they could do, like, Samus with Metroid Prime. Actually, that rumor's kind of weird in that, so it's from a guy named Leaky Panda, who is on Twitter. Yup, that's his name.
Sorry if you listen to this podcast,
Sorry, Leaky Panda.
It's a funny name.
It is. But,
it's a well-meaning name.
They're a Twitterer, and they have been right about some Smash Ultimate news. They have been right about some other stuff. They've been wrong about some stuff. They're not necessarily the most reliable, but they have a decent batting average, and they're saying after the start of next fiscal year, so April 2020 or onward, we will get Metroid Prime Trilogy, which kind of makes sense since we've heard it's done from people in the know that are actually reliable, like some Game Informer staff and whatnot, and Nintendo's just sitting on it. The wrinkle in this rumor is Leaky Panda went on to say, and I don't know if I believe this one, that a Super Metroid remake in the style of the 3DS's Samus Returns will then follow in 2021. And I don't know where Metroid Prime 4 fits into all of this. And I don't know if I believe that. But that's what they say.
A Metroid-style remake.
I think, honestly, Trilogy is probably going to happen. Super Metroid remake. It's already on Switch Online's and Super Nintendo game selection. I can't imagine Nintendo being like, yeah, there's an audience that will play the thing we already gave them for free again in slightly better 2D. But maybe I'm wrong.
How did Samus Returns sell?
it was on clearance a lot. But Samus Returns is tricky because it's
Mercury
It's funny 'cause
Steam.
I
it's
love-
Mercury
Right,
Steam.
yeah.
It is Mercury Steam. What were you gonna say?
No, it's funny because like I'm a huge Metroid fan, but I didn't even buy that game. I still plan on getting
I
it.
did.
But yeah,
I got the collector's edition with the CD and stuff. But
which is still available today. Anyway,
that's the thing. Is
Yeah.
like so it came out on a system that was basically dying on the vine.
True, yeah, that's right.
So it's hard to really say how it did versus how it could have done. But it did. It was at the top of the 3DS chart for a little while. But that's like, are we talking 10 games, 10,000 games, 1,000,000 games being sold in that chart? I don't know. So it did, and it was discounted, the collector's edition. So that didn't do that great. But the standard might have. I firmly believe Nintendo does see potential in future 2D Metroids. I just don't know if they're going to do a full-on remake of Super Metroid on a system that has Super Metroid playable on it currently. But things have happened.
Maybe they saw the
not
success of
DKCs
Link's Awakening and said, "Hey, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and do it."
Maybe.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's it does fit with that point that they made in their financial briefing a couple episodes ago. We were talking about where they were saying they might do more remakes of Game Boy games and whatnot. I mean, granted, Super Metroid's in Game Boy, but it's that era. So you might be right. You might be onto something. But yeah, the other big thing about Mario Maker 2 that we haven't touched on yet, I kind of indirectly sort of going that way when talking about speed running with Sonic, but they have a new speedrun mode called Ninja, which first, I had no idea those little ninja dudes from Mario were called Ninja. Did anyone know that? I feel like I'm the only one that didn't know that.
You're preaching to the choir here. No.
Oh, okay. So,
I mean,
how did you know? When did they ever identify them as
because
ninjas?
since I pay attention to the games I beat.
Oh, in the credits, I was like, this is a Ninja.
Yeah, I guess from what game it was.
Mario World.
Yeah.
But I beat Mario World and I don't remember that. I didn't pay attention to the credits. I was more basking in the glow of beating a game for once.
I like reading the wacky names. So,
I do know that, like, the dinosaurs have kind of funny names, but I didn't know Ninja. Anyway, point is, so Ninja has speedrun mode. Actually pretty awesome. Like, what Nintendo essentially did was embrace the whole speedrun community within Mario Maker and then offer weekly custom levels made by Nintendo with the idea that you try and beat them as fast as possible. How it works is actually kind of interesting that you get a new level every week. You go in and it's in what's called a recon run when you do it the first time. And the game literally tells you, like, take your time, think about strategies, take a deep breath, don't worry about it. And when you beat the level, they say, okay, great, now do you want all the ninja to follow you around? Because it's going to get crazy. And then you're like, yes, play again. And then suddenly you have this whole cluster of these little guys following or, being ghosts of other players.
It's very reminiscent of when you beat a level in Super Meat Boy. Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
It's like all your deaths, except these are actual successes.
But what's kind of neat about the ninja, I don't know if Super Meat Boy does this, but what's neat about the ninja is they will dynamically change which ghosts they give you based on kind of the people around you. So you're never going to see someone just zip past you.
Meat Boy is just all your past attempts until you beat it.
Yeah, this is other people. And it will dynamically scale as you get better and faster at that level, which is kind of neat. And to be honest, at first, when I was first doing it, it was kind of disorienting because it was just like this big gray blob around Mario. I'm like, wait, where am I? What is going on?
Oh, too much for little Jason.
It was too much for me, but eventually, I learned to tune it out, and it was a bit better. And that's when you start to actually notice patterns, sort of, because you're not going to follow each individual little ninja, but you start seeing, like, does the blob tend to go, like, along the top of the course? They tend to go through the middle. Is there, like, a little down hidden thing they all go into? And it actually kind of helps educate you in how to better do the run, which is kind of neat. And the thing is, if you do find that annoying and don't want it, you can turn it off. There's actually 4 levels of ninja intensity, I guess you could say. You can have, by default, it's a swarm, then there's a bunch, then there's a few, and then there's none. So I just leave it on swarm now that I've adapted to the too muchness of it. But once you complete a course, you then get like this snazzy little chart that shows you not just like how you rank compared to others with a raw number, but where you place on kind of a curve graph, like a grading curve looking thing, except it's all the people's times. The odd thing is, in typical Nintendo fashion, it doesn't seem like there's a way to view a proper leaderboard of like the exact people around you or more general rankings. I don't even think there's a way to see how your friends did in that run, which is odd because even Super Mario Run on smartphones let you see how your friends did on every single level in the game.
That's like the point of it.
Yeah, but like even without that, I did find the graph to be kind of like oddly moving. I was planning to do only 1 or 2 runs just to get a sense of it because this was like the night before I was writing this and putting this together and everything. Hour later, I'm still going. So I did manage to shave my time off, though. I went from like a 27-second run down to like 22 seconds. And last I checked, I'm in the top 48,000 people. Before that, I was in the top 56,000. So Yay, I'm aggressively average, but
These
slightly
levels
better.
are on a weekly basis?
They're on a weekly basis. Once they are done, you can continue to play them, but they will not be counted towards the Ninja speedrun mode, and they
Gotcha.
will not get you special items. That's the other thing, is if you beat it, you get a stamp. That stamp gives you costumes for your Mii, which you can then deck out in Ninja stuff. And if you do well enough, they throw little gold stars around you, and they sparkle for a preset amount of time that Nintendo will not say how long. But yeah, it's really cool, because basically you're getting a free new Mario course every single week.
For how long?
They have not said it's going to stop, so probably a year or two, I would guess.
I mean, they're definitely not going to say that they're going to stop, but... I mean,
No, but
let's see how long they support this.
I'm just thinking, like, Splatfest lasted like 3 or 4 years. And I'm sure, you know, they just had developers make 30 courses, and there you go. That's 2.5 years.
True,
Going on 3.
yeah.
But yeah, I think, like in many ways, as much as I love the inclusion of Link and was gushing about that, I think it's actually, like, the Ninja speedrun mode that's going to get me to come back, because it's just, like, easier to deal with. I mean, first of all, you're guaranteed good level design, because it's coming right from Nintendo. You can just go in and play. You don't need to actually, like, fire up, like, the course world and find a level. You don't need to enter a 12-digit code that you have to copy down from somewhere or whatever. You just boot up the game, you go do the thing, and then you're playing it. It's really easy. Which brings me to one continuing pet peeve about Mario Maker 2 that I'm sure everyone who's played the game feels, but I don't know if you guys realize this. They don't have a way to save courses to play in the game from outside the game. There's no bookmark feature. So in the original Mario Maker...
I like that feature.
Yeah, the original Mario Maker, which is like, what, from 4 years ago maybe, had a really slick companion website called the Mario Maker Bookmark.
Yeah, the fact you could do it from your phone was really awesome.
Yes, you could browse levels, you could input level codes, and then you can add them to a special tab called Bookmarks, and then when you go back to your main game, there's that corresponding tab in the course world in the game, and you could just download or play those levels right then and there. It was really cool. Mario Maker 2, which requires a paid online service to use, and has an app with that service, has an app with game-specific sections that would be perfect for something like this, does not have anything like that. It's very strange to me. Like, instead, what you got to do is situations like mine, where I have to make a running iOS note of all these different courses I want to play, and I have to manually copy and paste over, or not even copy paste, manually type in the code. Last I checked, I think I had, actually, how many do I have? Let's see. I have ready to be played at some point in time, like 25 courses. But it's just like, I don't want to sit there and type in, what's 25 times 12? Because that's how many digits I have to type in just to play these 12 courses.
a lot.
Yeah, like, it just seems silly when the
Little
300.
Big Planet website still works.
The what?
The Little Bit. It's essentially the same thing for Little Big Planet.
Oh, yeah. And you know what else
so-
still works? The original
That
Mario
still
Maker
works.
Oh,
website.
that's pretty cool.
The website for Mario Maker 1 on Wii U also is still working. I don't know why they don't just, like, hook that in. But it's just so
Maybe
weird
they only
to me.
had enough resources to have one of them running for one game, and they don't
So
want
turn it off.
They don't want to pull the plug on it, I guess.
Maybe, but who plays, like, who, I don't know.
All
The
20
usage
people.
stats must show that this game is, I mean, this game is selling at a faster rate than the original did. It's got to mean something, but I don't know. The most annoying thing is, like, even Nintendo's like, hey, check out all these cool courses. They had a series on Twitter where they had their different nindies of pretty big independent games make levels in Mario Maker 2, and they just had a screenshot with the code on it. And I'm like, what? How do you compile these?
Do the courses from the first game transfer over to the second game?
Because the tool sets are different.
Okay, see, that was going to be my excuse. Like, oh, well, creating is much easier on the Wii. So,
Yeah.
But seeing as how...
Yeah. And creating's not
Now
bad.
I'm just confused.
I
like,
know.
why?
Thank
What?
you. No, and the thing is, like, on Switch, yeah, it's a little easier on the Wii U because it comes with a stylus. But, like, the Switch is pretty finger friendly. You can get a capacitive stylus. Europe and Japan, they bundled it with the game. So there are ways. And,
Right, but you're not getting it on your TV at the same time.
Oh, true. Yeah, that is very true. So you are kind of blocking your own view. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's so bizarre to me that they don't have that, and it kind of undermines some of the cool stuff with the Zelda stuff. Meanwhile, Ninja Speedrun, it's just like, oh, there you go. It's right there. A good level guaranteed. Now, to be fair,
Okay.
you need to wait till the thing before you... To be fair, some fans have come up with clever workarounds to this problem. There's actually a Discord group who made an entire Super Mario World-style game. 2 games, in fact. And they call it Super Discord World 1 and 2. And what they did is they built a custom website, and you can browse through all the stages like an overworld map. Each of the stages are clumped together in different worlds with different themes. Each, they have their own webpage with the level code and screenshots and descriptions. and it's really cool. The levels are also like pretty well done. We'll link to it in the blog post for this episode if anyone wants to check it out. But like something like that's really cool and is a good workaround of this problem. But then you still have to enter all those codes versus like if they had the Switch Online app and you're on your phone looking at these courses, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. Like it would be so much easier. But at least like some fans are getting creative about it. Lack of level saving aside, though, it's a good update from Nintendo. It's a solid update, especially considering it's free. And the timing's pretty smart on their part too, because like Mario Maker 2, that's been out since June, and minus the fan demanded online play with friends thing, we haven't heard a peep about post release updates at all. Like Mario Maker 1 had constant support, but it felt like 2 was part of like the same weird DLC curse that all Mario games on Switch seem to have. Like Super Mario Party, no DLC. Mario Odyssey, no DLC. No post-release support whatsoever. It seems like Nintendo's like with Mario, like, nah, those games sell fine. We don't need to do anything. And it felt like...
I mean, they're kind of right, which kind of sucks.
They are kind of right. That's the thing. Like, Mario Party is one of the best-selling Mario Parties ever. Super Mario Party. Odyssey is, like, the third best-selling game on the Switch in the US or something like that. Like, total. Like, it's doing fine. But yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like, and it seemed like when there's them saying like, hey, you know, it's outpacing the sales of the first one, we don't need to do anything. And that's before even having its first holiday season. It's like, I don't know, are they really just not going to do it? So it was nice that they, at the very last second, were like, surprise, here's DLC. And to do it right in the middle of the holidays was extremely smart on their part. Because obviously, you know, good opportunity to boost sales. Everyone's covering it. It's a big crossover with Zelda. So like, strategically, I see what they're doing here. That's clever. Yeah, so that's kind of Mario Maker 2.
Cool.
Yeah, but that strategy, actually, of updating things, you sort of alluded to this earlier, Angel. They did the same thing with Switch Online and its new NES and Super Nintendo games, where they just right smack in the middle of the holidays, like, hey, you know we have this online service. Here's a couple of reasons you should pay attention to it. But I don't think everyone was on board with those reasons.
Yeah, give me a reason to be upset.
So there are 6 games, for those who don't know. They are... on the Super Nintendo side, Star Fox 2, Kirby Superstar, Breath of the Fire 2, and Super Punch-Out! On the NES side, we're getting smaller fare in the form of an RPG called Crystallis.
2 games you've never heard of.
Yeah, and a run-and-gun game I've never heard of called Journey to Silius.
You've heard of the first one?
Yeah. Huh. But I don't really know why they... I mean, I don't... Well, what's your beef with it, Angel? You go first, because you said you were upset by it.
Oh, they thought they didn't give me any good games.
Really? You love Punch-Out!
Yeah, but I don't want to play it. I want to play Donkey Kong Country.
So it's not that they didn't give you good games, they didn't give you the right game.
Sure. Whatever.
Yeah,
whatever
I still have yet to get Donkey Kong Country as well.
Yeah.
At all? Have you never played Donkey Kong Country?
No, yeah, I had on the Switch.
Oh, well, of course you haven't gotten it if he hasn't gotten it. It's the same service.
Yeah, that's our deal.
Wrong,
Yeah, just the way you said it, it's like you could have made the choice. Or, like, Nintendo's like, do you want Donkey Kong? You're like, you know what? I think I'm okay, but thank you. But, so, is it basically at this point for you, like, it has to be one of the Kongs or nothing? Like, if they did Super Mario RPG, or if they did...
I mean, that's the thing about, like, this kind of service. It's extremely subjective.
Yeah.
They can't just put games out and be like, cool, everyone's happy, we gave them some games. It's like,
right.
No, it's like... I've played enough Punch-Out to not really care about the older Punch-Outs that I'm just like... And I've played Kirby Superstar... like to death already. I already beat it on the Super Nintendo. I beat it on Kirby Superstar Ultra. Mm-hmm. Like literally, like the lineup is like they might as well just not have released anything as far as like I'm concerned. But it's just like
that's so severe.
Well, yeah, because it's different for everybody. You either care about the games or you don't. That's literally
That's fair. No Kirby Superstar.
No, like I just said,
I know.
So like I mean. There's no real answer for me to give. They just have to put out some games that catch my eye. It doesn't necessarily...
I guess my question was, what else besides Donkey Kong would make you happy?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. Because I've already played... Every Super Nintendo game I care to play, I've already played to death. Either on my Super Nintendo...
Final Fantasy 6.
Actually, yeah. I'd be interested in any of the Final Fantasies. Because I've never really played those. And I've now come to the point where I want to go back and try.
You know, Capcom has their version.
I'd be cool with Chrono Trigger because I've never played that.
Capcom has their own version called Breath of Fire, which is part of the service. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
If they brought Chrono Trigger, that'd be dope. Especially if it was just the original release and not some of those whack releases that they keep releasing.
Yeah,
no,
the ones with all the issues.
Yeah, like, come on.
I will...
Yeah, so that... Just like,
actually, no, I don't trust them to put any of the Final Fantasy games back on there. Actually, if it were the SNES versions, which they most likely would be, right? They wouldn't.
They would be. They're not going to do a later
Honestly,
port.
Oh, then yeah, bring Chrono Trigger and all the Final Fantasy games.
I'd be okay with waiting longer if they would just dump out like 20 games at once,
So let me ask you
just
this.
to make it
Let me
less
ask you
painful
this.
whenever a game isn't something
Let me
I'm
ask
interested
you
in.
this, and I'm going to be as selfish in a second with one of my complaints here. But so you'd rather people can't play anything until you can play
No.
your thing than to just have them piecemeal it?
Did you not hear what I said?
You'd rather they wait longer and include more games.
No,
so you can
I
get
said
the
as
games
far
you
as
want.
I'm concerned, like it just doesn't matter. Like I don't care what they're doing. Like it's just like another month that I'm just gonna ignore the
Sure.
SNES app.
You were just saying you'd rather wait longer, but is that the same as what you're doing? Except
I mean, I guess I am
Yeah.
waiting longer.
Yeah, but I'm equally selfish because let me tell you why I'm selfish about this. I don't know how I feel about Star Fox 2 joining the lineup. Like, don't get me wrong. On one level, it's super cool because it's a piece of Nintendo history that was buried so long ago for so long. So it's nice to see it reaching like a broader audience for that reason alone. Like, even if the game is only okay, it's cool that people can actually experience it in mass. Because like, I think I described it when we talked about it on this Super Nintendo Classic as it kind of felt like a first draft of a lot of Star Fox's later ideas. Like, all range mode came in 64, but was here.
Makes sense,
The
'cause
strategy
it
style,
literally was a first draft of all
it
of them,
basically,
yeah.
but yeah, and like the strategy, real-time strategy map of Star Fox Command started here. But here's the selfish part. I kind of like that this long-lost game was only available in an official capacity on the SNES Classic. Like, I know not everyone got one. I realize that...
And that's why you're wrong.
I know, I understand that. And I don't
you're a
mean
pretty
that
terrible
anyone
person.
else should limit their access to it. But what I'm saying is, like, the idea of having this little mini Super Nintendo that's full of all these things, including the only way to experience this super high-profile canceled game, kind of made that little Super Nintendo feel a little more special and neat. Like, it made it more interesting. It made it, like, it kind of hammered it home, the idea of it being a collector's item. Obviously, nothing changes with the Super Nintendo now that Star Fox 2 is out, except my perception of it. But it just... I'm being silly, I'm being selfish, but I just kind of like that the only way to play this long-lost piece of Nintendo history was on this tiny little thing that existed for a tiny period of time, and now it's just like any other game. And I realize I'm very selfish.
Yeah, that's
I'm saying I'm being
completely
selfish.
selfish.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know I'm being
Come on.
selfish. I'm just saying, there's part of me that's just like, oh, it was cool, and it was like tied to this thing.
Oh.
I understand why
Was
it's
it
not.
cool when it tied? Because, like you said, it was
Yeah.
an okay game at best.
No, but it's cool that this piece of Nintendo history had like this limited release. It's like special.
That's even worse.
No, like I
This thing that nobody experienced, only a fraction of people who
I'm
probably
so-
be into this are getting to experience.
I know,
mediocrity.
again,
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing on being
Oh,
selfish.
you didn't experience this mediocre Star Fox game?
I-
Too bad.
No, I'm not. I'm
I
saying.
get to.
Well, I don't even mean just. I don't even have to own. I'm just saying the idea of like there's this thing from Nintendo history, and there's only like this limited means to access it.
I mean, at least,
kinda
like, on what
gives
I-
more of the mythos back to it that it's losing.
No.
Which I'm again not saying it makes sense.
I don't think it takes away any of the mythos because it was lost media as far as like the US was concerned, like for a long time. Like the history is
Yeah.
still there.
Yeah, but it's just to be like, oh well.
If anything, it
Oh,
was.
well,
if,
on my
Nintendo-
piece of
Nintendo-
hardware
if
that I
anything-
can
if any-
resell
if
on
anything,
eBay
it
for
Well, I want people doing
$200.
that.
Like,
again, I started this by saying it's good they're expanding it to everyone. Like it's good people can experience it, and I know I'm being selfish. There's something kind of neat
I
about
understand.
this box that only had this
I
one. thing.
understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you any less of a horrible person, though.
Oh, I
'Cause
started by saying I'm selfish.
I mean, at least what I
I'm not
said is
denying
like.
I'm horrible.
I mean, at least what I said is just like I'd rather just them like do like a lump sum of I don't know games for everybody. At least
I mean-
at least it's potentially something everyone will potentially like instead of just like something that.
But
most people
why?
already-
Why
hold on.
delay
Hold on.
other
So
people's joy for your joy?
Because they wouldn't have known that delay if it was delayed.
my thing with you
that
is
is
like,
what they're doing, by the way. Because now they're doing every.
I mean, I'm
2
not
to
saying
3
that. I'm not
months.
saying that's the best idea. That was just kind of like
Yeah.
the first thing that popped into my head.
Yeah.
It's like I would have rather
What were
them
you
have
gonna say,
like
Kevin?
Well,
20 games. I would have been like, all right, at least we got 20 games, even if I don't care about any of them. But now it's just 6 games.
Theoretically, we used to get 2 a month. Or
I know,
3. Now we're
it's
getting
still-
8,
yeah.
6. So
Somehow
it's still better
somehow they made 6 still feel like it sucks.
because it's not what you want.
my thing
Yeah.
with what you're saying, it's like, okay, you didn't get the games that you wanted this month.
So no one should get anything.
No, hold on.
No?
What I'm saying is, it's like you would rather wait. Let's say 6 months after the service launch, we get Donkey Kong Country.
Oh no, I'm
Right?
saying
No, hold on. Let's say
Mediator Kevin in
let's say
action.
let's say that's what happens.
Okay.
6 months from now, you get Donkey Kong Country. Let's say we just didn't get anything for 6 months, or let's say we got nothing for 6 months, and then we got a bunch of games with Donkey Kong Country. Isn't that the same as we're getting a bunch of games that you don't care about,
It is.
and then on month 6 you finally get Donkey Kong Country. Isn't that the same thing?
Not really, because every single time they release one of those games, it just kind of reminds me like, oh, this is like it didn't get released this time, or maybe the next time, maybe next week. Oh man, it didn't come out. All right, maybe next week. I really want Donkey Kong Country.
I can get.
Oh
okay.
god damn
I
it.
understand. I understand
I've
his
waited.
thinking now.
And then it's like 6 months later, like, oh my god, we finally got. Instead of just like, all right, well they're not releasing anyway. It's just out of my mind completely. Like, I'm not even thinking about the app. I'm just playing Smash Bros. Or whatever. And then they're like, oh, we're going to get NES games. And that's all the video. Oh, cool. We got 6.
So, in the same way that I was rambling about my selfish things.
No,
question.
Both terrible.
We're horrible people. Question.
I'm kidding.
Couldn't you just go play it on your 3DS while you wait? Like, what?
I want to play it on my TV. Hold
Yeah.
on. Now
Or on
I'm
your
back
Super,
on this side.
or
I'm
on your
back this
Super
side.
Nintendo. Don't you have a Super Nintendo somewhere?
Yeah, but...
Or on your Super Nintendo. Like, you have means to the end. You could play it in the interim.
You can also play Star Fox 2 on your little box, by the way, that some people
Correct.
don't get.
That's my whole point. No.
Don't get the.
And again, no, I prefaced it, and I need to say it again. I'm glad they're expanding it. There's just a little piece of me that's like, I felt special, and now I don't. Which is super selfish, and I'm not denying that. But, yeah, like, couldn't you have ways to play it? So, the sting of them saying, like, oh, well, you're going to have to wait another month shouldn't be that strong when you could be like, all right, I guess I could dig it out if I really care. Which means you don't really care that much. You just don't, like, not getting your game.
my Super Nintendo isn't really accessible anymore. And if I want to... I mean, I'm playing it right now, but I want to play it on a big TV.
He only has so many HDMI ports.
I know, same. I'm in the same boat. I have all my consoles lined up and from back N64 up.
I mean, I would love to be able to, like, take snapshots and, like, record some, like, stuff from it. I'd love to be able to...
So every time Nintendo
do,
does
like,
so every time Nintendo releases not it just pains you versus you just kind of brushing it off, essentially.
Well, I mean, Donkey Kong Country is, like, the big one. I mean, I'm sure there's, like, other games, like you mentioned. I didn't even think about Final Fantasy, but that would have been, like, a nice game to get. Or Chrono Trigger, or, like, a lot of
right, no,
stuff.
that's fair.
I mean, it just, like... It was just a small number, and a lot of them were games we've gotten in pretty much every generation of...
Really?
Yeah. Kirby.
Star Fox, this is only the second time, as we just went over.
I don't know.
Kirby,
game...
yes. Breath of Fire 2, I don't think has been out since the Virtual Console. And two games that did not fit that bill, that we've never heard of, we don't care about because we've never heard of, but are exactly what you're talking about, which are games we've never gotten before.
Yeah,
so it's kind of, there's no right answer to this.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I said. It's like literally, as far as I'm concerned, because it doesn't matter. For everyone, it's different. This could have been like someone's like DKC, like all 6 of them could have been DKC equivalents.
The only takeaway from this is I'm a horrible person for wanting to keep Star Fox 2 to myself. That's really the only takeaway from this.
Yes.
But for those who want to experience Star Fox 2 on a not physical device and on your Switch...
Isn't the Switch a physical device?
I meant not the physical Super Nintendo. No, the Switch is all in your head. It's all in your head. No, but December 12th is when all this comes out, is what I was getting at. You're right, it is a physical device. That was a weird choice of words on my part. For anyone who doesn't want to pay an arm and a leg on eBay. There.
I almost drove 2 hours for an SNES Classic just because I want to play Super Mario World, and then thank my lucky stars that the Nintendo Direct came out that, hey, we're adding the SNES online. Whoo!
Wait, how late into the game were you playing a Super Nintendo Classic?
Oh, like I just said, like a week before they announced that.
So you're already like a year out of the... Okay.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I got mine at launch, I think, and had played it a handful of times.
I'm not surprised.
Like, it is nice to have it on the Switch. Like, I get the convenience of the Switch. Like, I play Mario World on the Switch, not on my Super Nintendo.
Anything on the Switch is super convenient.
I know. But anyway, the whole Super Nintendo game and us being... me mostly being awful is a bit of a tangent, really. The big theme... this episode was crossovers, and Mario Maker 2 obviously is the prime example with Link, but I don't know if there's something in the water these past few weeks or what, but it feels like there's just crossovers left and right, like weird ones. We kind of rattled some of them off at the top of the show, but like the most random probably is Daemon X Machina X The Witcher 3. Like, so like in Japan at least, they've been doing crossovers with animes like Code Geass, is that how you say it? Geass?
Yeah.
And yeah, and Eureka 7, both of which kind of make sense because they involve technology and robots and things like that. So I get why Daemon X Machina would have those characters and mechs and stuff in it. But The Witcher? That's like putting Frodo in Transformers. It's so random. Not necessarily a bad thing, it's just like really random. So what you get if you own Daemon X Machina are 2 new character skin sets, basically one of each character. And it's all cosmetic. And while it's kind of weird, it sort of works. Like, the overall aesthetic kind of oddly fits, as conceptually strange as it is. I mean, have you guys seen the footage or anything? It's strange, but...
I just saw a handful of screenshots.
It kind of works, yeah. It's, I think, like, I just don't understand why this happened. Like, all I can think of is that it's a marketing move for Japan. Because, like, here, or in general, a game like, I don't know, Xenoblade Chronicles or Gundam or something would be a more natural fit for Daemon X Machina, since robots. But, I don't know, maybe Nintendo wants to give Witcher 3 a boost in Japan. Like, here in the West, the game on Switch, the Complete Edition, did well enough that CD Projekt Red, they were saying in their third quarter revenue report, sales were up 38% year over year, or revenue was up 38% year over year, thanks in part to the Switch version of Witcher. So...
That's right.
You didn't buy it.
I know.
You bought the PS4 version.
Yeah, for $5.
You did not help them. But
you got the better looking version of the game.
You did get the better looking version. But that's what's actually kind of interesting.
For $5. How much is the Switch version?
Fifth. I don't know.
Not $5.
And it came with all the DLC too.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what though? Think about the blood, sweat, and tears that went into that Switch version. A lot did. I was actually just reading this on VentureBeat the other day. Like, there's...
I'm sure, yeah.
The amount of dev work is, like, it's more than you would think. It's not just simply porting it over.
It's not putting it into, like, a handbrake equivalent, drop the file in there, convert to...
No, they
drop
did that.
down switch.
So Saber Interactive
Export.
did that. That's how they started. They ported it over as is, and the game ran at a whopping 10 frames per second. It was 20 gigs bigger
That's
than what
not bad. Hold on. 10 frames a second for that game on the Switch is
it's
not
that bad. But it required 50% more memory than the Switch had, and the cartridge was the file size was 20 gigs bigger than the cartridge.
Okay, so nobody was going to be able to play that version regardless.
So
okay.
then they're like, okay, well, what if we just turn off the most stuff we can? So they turned off dynamic shadowed lights. They got rid of screen space ambient occlusion. I don't even know what that means.
Even on PC, you want to take that off.
Occlusion, sure.
That is
and they
FPS
cut down the number of NPCs by 30%, so the world was just empty. And then they're like, nope, this is no longer just The Witcher, it's missing a ton of stuff. So then they had to go back and get creative and completely rebuild the Shadow engine from the ground up. They did an entirely different set of basically techniques and algorithms and stuff that would mirror what the old system did, but do it with less like weight, I guess you could say. Then they had to change the way the clothes animated. Then they had to change how the grass was rendered. Then they had to redo all the trees. And then they had to do all these other odd
They basically remade the game.
And they basically remade the game from the ground up so that they could sell it for $60 or $50 and have you go buy it on PS4 for $5.
Well, I bought it before it was announced.
Yeah, and but it goes to show you, like, honestly, that like porting, especially on Switch, like any less powerful system, like it's really not as easy as it seems, and can often require a lot more work than you would think. And, like, we always like, oh, why is it not port this? Why is it not port that? How come this game's taking so long? Why is, like, why did game X or Y come out 6 months after the other versions? Why is Elder Scrolls Blades delayed till 2020, even though it's a mobile game port? And you start to realize, like, there's a lot in there.
Iron Galaxy's been wanting to port Monster Hunter World to Switch.
Really?
Whoa,
yeah.
That'd be crazy.
I forgot.
Do you think they could pull? I mean, they've done some good ports. Them and Saber and
Adam Boyes is confident that Iron Galaxy can port it.
That's impressive because them, Saber Interactive, and there's another one I'm blanking out on. Yeah, Panic Button. Yeah, Panic Button. Yeah. Those are the three that are like the kings of porting on Switch, and everything they do is quality work. So, Andrew, would you double dip on Monster Hunter World if it came to Switch?
No, because of the people I would be playing with.
What if they also decide to double dip? Would you collectively all double dip?
It wouldn't work out because if Obis double dip, then I can't
Switch.
play with him on the same Switch. Plus, he's already like beaten the game, so
right.
He's not.
It's still crazy to think about. Like, that's a massive game.
It's 2 years old.
Yeah, I imagine, like, on some level, the reason, for example, that Daemon X Machina is doing this crossover is because, like, The Witcher 3, they put a lot of energy into, a lot of effort into it, came out well, Nintendo seems to want to promote it, so there's a bit of a profile boost by doing that, and kind of rewarding the quality of the product. And I wouldn't be surprised, like, if I had to guess, it's stuff like Monster Hunter World happens and whatever.
Monster World.
If Monster World happens, Monster Boy and Monster World happens. No, but if any of that happens, I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo does similar sort of like olive branches to those companies just to help get the word out. The same way they support Skyrim in a more direct way with marketing and that sort of stuff. Because, like, we're at the point where the Switch is selling itself just fine, and we're at the point where a lot of third parties want to get on there anyway. But anything they can do to keep that train going, like, you might as well, right? Because ultimately, and this is really the, statement of the episode, like, crossovers, their greatest purpose is marketing tools. So, the more crossovers they do, the better. Like, you see it, like, this week, for example, Shovel Knight music is in Just Shapes and Beats. And if you're a fan of Shovel Knight, you're slightly more likely, or maybe low, maybe not, to buy or at least consider. You would consider this game Just Shapes and Beats, which is a really good rhythm game that you would not consider if Shovel Knight wasn't there because maybe you never heard of it. It's like there's obviously a reason that they're doing these things. Or like if you look at Nintendo's mobile games, they're kind of mirroring The Witcher in Daemon X Machina by taking something futuristic and techie and mixing it with something fantastical, but they're flipping it. So for Dragalia Lost, Mega Man is currently in Dragalia Lost, which is also random in a way.
It doesn't really make sense. But...
So it does. I did some research on this. It does make sense because the next chapter of Dragalia Lost story introduces androids and robots. Apparently, this ancient world
so they made it make sense.
They made it make sense. But yeah, in a nutshell, like what this event is you get Mega Man on your team. He has his own moves, like the Mega Buster, the Charge Shot. He has a slide. He explodes into bits when he dies, just like normal Mega Man. And then there's a new weapon that gives Mega Buster abilities to any character you want. Yeah, it's like fully Mega Man in the game. And it seems like this one is as much for Dragalia Lost itself as it is for Mega Man. Well, not really. Mega Man doesn't need the word out about him. He's not a new character. No one's like, who's this Mega Man fellow? Like, that's pretty established. But Dragalia is an interesting spot for Nintendo because, they've got titles like Mario Kart Tour, which we talk about almost every episode in some capacity now. Apple just announced the most downloaded iOS game of 2019 is Mario Kart Tour in the world. So Nintendo doesn't need anything for that. But then you got... yeah, right. But then you've got Dragalia Lost, which is like a new IP. It doesn't bring in the money that Fire Emblem Heroes does, but it's on that path, and if they can give it more of a profile boost, then it could bring in that much money. So like it's.
I don't know if Mega Man's going to be the thing that.
I don't know if he alone will be the thing, but they previously did one with Fire Emblem Heroes. Now they're doing one with Mega Man. I suspect more are coming, and I suspect it's an attempt to attract different.
It's only time before Sonic does it,
or something.
Because I know Sonic is already like summoning heroes or something. He was like the bonus. I don't know. Like that game is just one of those like summon like a bunch of creatures and.
Yeah, and what's interesting about it is so the guys they developed Dragalia with, like Psy Games or whatever their name is, they are known in their other mobile games for doing a ton of crossovers. So that's probably where this is coming from. But it's interesting if you look at like when they did Fire Emblem Heroes, that was in a gacha system. So you open Dragalia and you go to your gacha and you could get Chrom or anyone else from Fire Emblem Heroes. That's cool, I guess, for mobile gamers. Like they're used to that system, that's fine. What's interesting about Mega Man is this seems almost like a appeal to the more traditional gamers on consoles where it's like, oh, this character, he's in this new thing, come check it out, and don't worry, he's not in a gacha, you all just get him from the start. So I'm kind of wondering like what the next character will be and who they're going to go after with that. Is there like a third audience, or are they going to keep alternating between the two? Because it's a good way to boost the profile of a game. What I don't know is why it was Mega Man in particular. Like sure they have androids and stuff, but like Nintendo could have done a first party like they did with Fire Emblem. Like it didn't have to be Mega Man per se. I mean, they could have done, if they wanted to keep it somewhat fantastical, they could have done Zelda. If they wanted to get a little sci-fi, they could have done Xenoblade. They could have gone all the way with Metroid or Star Fox. Like I don't know how they settled on Mega Man, and I don't know how Capcom got involved or what Capcom's cut of this is, or what. I guess Mega Man's is Mega Man having a renaissance? I know 11 just came out, and there's rumors that they're bringing back Battle Network.
Wait, did it just come out?
Well, like a year ago, but it sold 1 million.
Wait, not 11. Don't you mean 12?
11.
Because 10 and 11 were the NES.
12. No, 11. Yeah.
No, you're right. No, 9 and 10.
9 and 10, yeah. 11 came out last October, and has since sold 1 million. They're supposedly coming out with a Battle Network game for smartphones next year. There's a movie apparently in the works. Like, I guess they're at the start.
I mean, it had a TV show. I don't know if the show is still going.
Yeah, I don't know, actually. Charged Up or whatever it was
Apparently it's better than it looks, but...
It's not saying much. But yeah, like, I don't know why Mega Man, but, I mean, maybe sometimes just wackier or least expected collaborations do better. Like, the weirder the mashup, the better. That's the other thing to think of. Because, like, there was you actually, Angel, just shared that, obviously this isn't real, but it got some traction online, the Godzilla and Smash Bros. Video that you tweeted. Not that you tweeted, but that you retweeted or shared or whatever you did. It's going around, and I think that's the type of thing where it's like, well, this is really random, and it gets attention. And I imagine Mega Man's kind of the same in Dragalia.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Godzilla just...
How would that work? Let's dive into that.
Well, no, but like, even if I didn't care about Godzilla, which obviously definitely really like Godzilla, like I still would have like really enjoyed that video just because like it doesn't make any sense. He's not a video game character. He's had video games. I guess that's like how some people argue the whole Goku, like, oh, he could make it in. He's gotten like probably has more games in or as many games as probably most of the Nintendo cast. But I don't know. Moveset was just really funny. Just referenced like a lot of his old movies, which was great. I mean, it's definitely more of a like, wow, you could tell like a real Godzilla fan made that moveset. Right. Like that Final Smash. Oh my god, that was
what was his
beautiful.
Final Smash again?
I mean, it's a sky beam, you know, like heck he does in like in the movie posters and everything. But more specifically, it's what he does towards the middle of Shin Godzilla, where it's like before that point he hadn't shot out his beam. And he kind of like ducks down just like he does in the trailer. He shoots out like a bunch of what looks like gas, and then it starts combusting the gas, and then it destroys like most of the city. And then all of a sudden it just starts getting more concentrated. Then it makes that high pitched noise, which they also brought into the trailer. And then he just starts swinging that around, and then he also starts shooting it from the tail. I don't think they did the tail, but I mean it's definitely a very like awesome moment where you're like, oh my god, that's the beam from Shin Godzilla. But, I mean it was the Shin Godzilla model too. But,
and this was in Brawl, right?
Yeah, it wasn't
Ultimate.
Yeah, it was Project M.
Oh, no wonder. For anyone who has no idea what we're talking about, we'll link to the video in the blog post. But it's pretty like
definitely just watch the part where they show the character. Like I watched the full video where they try to do like a whole, you know, like when Smash Bros. Reviews a character, they have like a CG cutscene.
Right.
Like there's like an animated and source filmmaker that's like Valve's animation software that they just put out there for free, only on PCs, which kind of sucks. But yeah, it's just weird and random. Like it almost has nothing to do with Godzilla until like the very end, and it's literally like you have Captain Falcon fighting Ridley. Ridley steals like a letter, like the Smash envelope. Then Ridley's flying around like a hummingbird, like fighting the Star Fox Armada. Still had nothing to do with Godzilla. And then at some point, you just see like a break room with different Godzillas, and like the Godzilla from the 1999 film, the one with Matthew Broderick, I think his name is.
Yeah, Zilla.
Yeah, Zilla. Like he's just kind of spinning around in place, just like, you know, because like that's what they did with him. And then the letter just like slaps Shin Godzilla in the face, and then the trailer just starts. So yeah, just skip all that.
It's based on Shin Godzilla.
Yeah,
but yeah, like that sort of random thing. Like I feel like not to that extent, but Mega Man's kind of that. Like what? Why? And then you pay attention.
Yeah, at least both of them are like, all right, he's a video game character, but yeah, it's still weird.
But it's like, yeah, the only one that'd be weirder if they put Pac-Man.
What do you mean barely a video game character? He's
no, but like
more
not
video game character.
Yeah, but I mean he's like an old, like traditional old school video game character. He's still around, but it's the old Mega Man that they're using.
I know.
And the only thing that could be
Putting
more
him
random,
in there,
they should put Pac-Man. That would have been super random. And Pac-Man's collaborating with everyone right now. He has like a clothing line. He has a Timex watch. Yes, he personally, Mr. Man. He has all sorts of a champion sportwear line.
Pac-Man and Mega Man were both in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, another crossover.
Yeah, Pac-Man was piloting like a wooden mech of sorts.
Yeah, and Project X Zone, weren't they both in that too?
No, because
it was Namco, Capcom, and Sega. Why would they not be in there?
Because they only picked like the humanoid people.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Weird.
Like Phoenix Wright was in there, but Sonic wasn't in that.
Interesting.
And Sonic wasn't in the Project crossover with Sonic. Wait, yeah, with Sega.
Right.
I mean, we have the game right there. You can look at the cover.
Oh yeah, it's Project Cross. I keep calling it Project X Zone because it's a giant X.
Yeah, it's just like all the the humanoid people. I mean, I think Mega Man might be in there. I don't remember, but I mean, I know Elvis is the one that played him.
Right. He gave impressions years ago on the podcast for it.
Yeah. I mean, it looks cool. It's a combo game, but yeah, they picked not the fantastical characters for that.
It is interesting to see like the ebbs and flows of crossover. Like there's definitely like peaks and valleys where crossovers are super in, and then there's a while where they don't really do any, or like they'll do something random like, oh look, it's The Witcher and Soul Calibur. You're like, okay, I kind of get that. But then they're also like, oh look, it's The Witcher and Daemon X Machina. You're like, I don't get that, but okay. Like,
when does the Netflix series come out?
It's out. Or no, it comes out next week. They did the launch event for it here in LA a couple days ago.
Let's watch the episode and cut to our impressions. I've only played like the first.
I have never
2 hours of
played The Witcher, so
maybe 3.
But yes, it should be out this month sometime.
So I might be able to only get.
I got maybe about 10 hours in, and there was a quest that I failed. And it's not like where you
can like screw this game.
Yeah, because you continue the game. It's not like a game over. It just keeps going. It was like, I can't do this. And there's a little tab that says
quest failed.
Like, you're a failure. Yeah, failed quest. And I was like, I can't live with this, and just never played The Witcher again.
Wow. But you can watch the show
game design,
it won't know.
Bad game design.
Yeah. But on the
why would they do that?
To make it more real, man. Make it more real.
Yeah, that's literally why. It's
like in life, you don't get a do-over, you don't get a hit restart, you don't hit a pause menu on life, man. You keep going.
That's why I play video games, to escape real life.
But then video games want to be real life too, because
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to have both sometimes.
Video games help you escape reality by letting you live in a reality they don't live in.
Yeah, I mean,
But sometimes that reality is just as bad as your reality.
I mean,
just fantastic.
Like when you were playing The Witcher, like, did you expect it to be like the kind of game where it's like, all right, I'm gonna beat all these quests on my first try because I know it doesn't do that, or like like any other game where you expect to be able to.
I expected to like do all the side quests and stuff like that, and then I failed it. It was like, oh no, and I can't restart. Oh, yeah. It's
Could you not just load your last save point?
no, because
The game doesn't believe in saves. It's like real life.
auto saves. I mean, I guess you can save scum, but I wasn't save scumming, so the game like auto saved as soon as that.
Well, you call it
failed that
scum.
quest.
I can see why you wouldn't. It gives it very negative.
I mean, that's the term that everybody uses,
It
save
is,
scumming.
yeah.
I've actually never heard that term, but it makes sense.
You
No, I
never
have
that term?
heard it. I just riffing.
Save scum. I've heard.
Oh, you never heard it.
Yeah, I've heard. I forgot. I already forgot what the other term was.
I got save scum from
rotate my saves or something.
XCOM, because I would save scum a lot, and it ruined the game for me, honestly. Don't save
Well,
scum,
yeah, it
kids.
takes away all.
Yeah, because you're pretty much doing like the perfect
stakes.
run.
Yeah,
It takes away
I
stakes.
was like, no, I can't have my soldier die. Let me just.
It was
yeah.
very hard to resist when I beat Mario World for the show a couple months ago, and we did the Mono and Mario episode. It was very hard to resist just opening the Switch's rewind function and just undoing, so I could just get through it faster. I did resist, but it was very hard to resist. Like I tried it once, and I'm like, oh, this feels bad. Ooh, I'm not doing that. But yeah, it's like the accessibility of that sort of thing just makes it very difficult to. I mean, it depends on what you care about. If you're just experiencing it for the story, who cares? You can just keep going.
Or you're playing Super Ghosts and Goblins, which that game needs the rewind feature because Jesus Christ,
I mean,
that
at the end of the day, too, like, I mean, it's a Super Ghosts and Goblins, or I guess to a lesser extent Mario. I mean, you still have to do that jump. You still have to get past that point.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I mean, yeah, for Ghosts and Goblins, like there's only like one save point in each stage, which is just really brutal.
Well, it's fine because like so the speed runs with Mario Maker 2, the Ninja speed run. So what I noticed I was doing is every time I screwed up.
Are you proud you wasted 2 hours beating that one level instead of like the 10 minutes? I guess just for doing it in one.
Well, what I was gonna say is like,
I mean,
if I missed the first jump, so I knew I had to land the first jump, get on top of a block, jump off a spike, and keep going like a spike character, not a spike. And every time I screwed up the jump, even a hair, start over. There's a video on my Switch, maybe I'll tweet it, it's kind of funny, where it's like, in like 16 seconds, I restart like 4 times. Because it's kind of like the same thing as the rewind, except luckily it was only at the beginning. But yeah, it's one of those things, it depends on what you want to do with the game. If you're trying to achieve something, sometimes the rewind helps, I guess. If you're just trying to get through it, sometimes the rewind helps. But if you want to like actually like feel like you accomplished something, then the rewind's really scummy. Yeah, which is why I didn't.
You know what game needs the rewind? The Witcher 3. So that I could take back those 30 seconds where I accidentally killed the person that I needed to defend, which made me fail that quest. And
you know what series needs a rewind? Check out this transition. You know what series needs a rewind? Super Monkey Ball. Because like I've been playing.
Let's roll along with it. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so I have been playing Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD. And, well, first of all, it's also a crossover game. Sonic's in it randomly in the most like lazy way to do a crossover. No offense to Sega, which is, hey, here's that one IP of ours. Here's that bigger IP of ours. What if we just put that one in the other one? It won't change anything. Let's just stick him there. So
I
he's
really
in
liked it though.
Is he in the ball?
Cool. It's kind of cool, but it's strictly
like
cosmetic.
Yeah, but
it's cool. It's just point like.
Is he in like the capsule, like the ball? Oh, okay.
But and it's like instead of II, it's like a palette swap. It's fine. It's nice. It's a nice olive branch to like Sonic fans. It gets people interested in it. All the marketing mumbo jumbo is talking about.
I'm interested in it.
But it's still kind of just like there's nothing to it. It's just like okay. It's a nice surprise.
Yeah, you get Sonic in your face the whole time you're playing instead of.
Well, actually, you get Sonic's butt in your face because he's facing away from you the whole.
Well, I mean, if you're doing it right, he's just gonna be spinning, so you see a blue ball, I guess.
No, you can still see the character inside it.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
you can see his butt.
All right, I guess you're really focused on his butt, I guess.
Well, I mean, literally, they emphasize the butts on the monkeys, like they're there. Anyway, the point is, so Super Monkey Ball is not like so before I launch into it, my barometer here is the original 2 Super Monkey Balls on GameCube. Those were, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people's opinions, the pinnacle of the series. And I knew going into this one that's an enhanced port of the lesser Wii version, Banana Blitz. But it looked like Sega put actually a good amount of effort into this. They made some things better. There's online leaderboards for the main stages and the mini games. There's the motion controls are out. There's proper stick controls. They added a weirdly catchy but also just really weird theme song, like with lyrics sung by some Japanese folks that have in English
very elaborate
quote,
marketing.
Here's a specific real lyric from the song that I had to make sure this was real. Bite a little bit of me, you'll see why. So that exists, but it seems like they hired someone to sing that. So clearly, like they're putting some money and effort into this, and it should be a better game than it was. But is it still good enough? Is the question. And
that game has one cardinal sin, and you know which one it is.
Maybe Monkey Target.
No.
Oh,
what? No. They added a jump button.
Okay, so I'll get to that. Yeah. No. Actually, you know what? I take that. That's not the cardinal sin. There's a bigger cardinal sin.
Okay. To me, from what I've seen of gameplay, that is the one cardinal sin. You added a jump button to Super Monkey Ball? How dare you?
No. You know what the cardinal sin is? Well, I don't mind the jump button, honestly.
Of course you don't.
So the core game, like the core story mode, it barely has a story, but the core, maze Marble Madness situation, it does follow the beats of what works with Monkey Ball, and the jump button doesn't necessarily, like, you're still tilting stages to make the monkey roll and all that, but the button hasn't hindered things too much. All they did was come up with some obstacles you go over, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, but at that point, like, why even have it?
The one thing I will say is it does make the whole thing feel a little easier because you just kind of jump past things now.
Instead of having to tilt yourself.
And they had it in the original because they're trying to promote the waggle of the Wii because there's a launch tile, so they couldn't just take it out entirely. But what they also added that I think is the cardinal sin is boss fights. And the boss fights in concept aren't a bad idea. Like, they introduced some animals in the stages now. So, like, you're going down, you're rolling around, and there's like a little bird blowing wind, and that's not an obstacle, and that's fine. But then there's bigger animals and bigger things as these boss fights, and they're not great. I mean, the problem is, like, Monkey Ball has pretty loose, like, roly-poly physics. And for boss battles, that just makes it kind of unnecessarily annoying because you don't have the precision you need necessarily. Like, a lot of bosses boil down to you need to bop them. You need to jump into them, jump on them, jump on something that then hits them. And it's just like, you're kind of slipping and sliding, which makes it a little difficult. And then the camera tries to stick to the kind of linear view behind you it has, but it also is trying to lock onto the boss at the same time. So it doesn't really work. Like, think of Star Fox's, like, all range mode, where you suddenly, you're going into the screen and suddenly you have, like, 360 degree view. It's that. But if they forgot to free up the camera for that 360 degree view. So you can move 360 degrees instead of going down a linear path, and the camera will stick to that linear camera angle even though you have full movement. So there are times you're like trying to track the boss and you just fall off the side because, that side you didn't know was there until like the second you were about to fall and you couldn't react in time. It really feels like they shoehorned a game idea into an engine not built for it, which is exactly what they did, I think. Like, to give an example, so the second boss in the game was a real pain for me because so he shoots missiles, and you're supposed to deflect them back by jumping on top of the missile. But half the time, because of the physics, you're now jumping into the missile, and then you get hit by a missile, and then you ricochet back, which, whatever. But the problem is the camera's only locked to him, the boss, not the missiles coming at you. So you jump on a missile, the missile, you miss the missile shoots past you and comes back around. You have no idea where the missile went because the camera's not showing you. There's no camera control. Next thing you know, on your left, there's suddenly a missile hitting you. It just kind of like, it's more frustrating than fun. And what's funny is I eventually realized that the way to win was to not move at all because then the camera wouldn't go haywire. But that's kind of the antithesis of the whole game. The whole game is about constantly like navigating at speeds, high and low speeds. And some bosses work better than others, to be fair. The ones that stay true, like Monkey Ball's roots, are enjoyable enough. Like, there's the third world boss. You go down a straight path. On that straight path, he's throwing snowballs at you. You have to navigate around. There's also bumpers on the path that you have to navigate around. So that's like, this is Monkey Ball. It's linear. You see the boss at the end. You get to him, like, oh, cool, I hit him, and then rinse and repeat. Except, when you get to the end, suddenly it switches to the 360 view again, because what he decides to do is a spinning animation, and then he has to get dizzy, and once he's dizzy, you can then bop him in his belly button, because, of course, that's what you do. That one kind of mostly works, because there's not, like, things coming at you from the left and right, but again, if you're in a 360 view and the camera's locked on him, and you're trying to avoid getting hit by his spin, your camera's facing one way, you're trying to navigate, like, the camera's facing right, you're trying to navigate left to kind of go up and around the side, you don't know necessarily where the stage ends, and you just fall off. And it's kind of, again, what I realize is if you just don't really move, like if you move very slow, it kind of avoids it. But again, it kind of feels antithetical to the game's concept.
It doesn't feel like Super Monkey Ball.
And I guess you could argue that, like, you always at some level with Monkey Ball needed to move slowly. Like, like Monkey Ball's thing was about, like, brisk precision, I guess you could say. But they have a time limit that keeps you kind of moving. So there's always a speed you need to go. And the bosses don't have a time limit. So suddenly, what you thought was the slowest, quote-unquote, you could go is actually nowhere near as slow as you need to go to successfully beat these guys. And once you learn that, and once you realize if I just stop, or if I just move a centimeter a minute, or something like that, the bosses aren't that bad. But it took me a while to pick up on that, and it does not feel like Monkey Ball. But besides that, I actually do like the standard stages. I think they're pretty enjoyable. They do capture the Monkey Ball vibe, which I have missed since GameCube. Yeah, I know a lot of folks, like you, don't necessarily like the jump button, but I didn't find it to be too bad. And the thing is, there's only like one boss every 10 stages, so you're still mostly getting a true Monkey Ball experience. It's just every 10 stages you gotta kind of
and you have to beat the boss to
beat the boss.
That's
the downside.
Yeah.
But the other kind of downside is they did some cool replayability stuff. So they have leaderboards for every stage, and then there's 2 medals you can get. One of which is if you just beat all the stages in a world, and 10, and another is if you beat them all in one go without needing to continue ever. So you could fall off, but if you run out of lives, that you don't get that medal. What's cool is they have that replayability. What's not cool is you have to beat the boss to get the second medal, the more elaborate. So that kind of takes some stuff away from it. The other half of the game, that's only half the game. The other half of the game are the mini games, of course, which for reasons unclear to me went from 50-ish in the original Banana Blitz to 10 in the remake. And then I'm like, oh, that must mean they picked the 10 best. And those are the ones that are just, they're going to pedal to metal, they're going to redo it, it's going to be great. Yeah, I don't know. 10. I don't know what they did. If these are the best, I don't
all right. Well,
maybe they're the best. Which is I don't know what about the other 40. But here's the thing:
pick
like
10 numbers between 1 and 50,
and then they're like, "This is the one." No, and the problem is again, like the main game, there's good ideas that are just like marred down or however you say that by weird choices. Like the good idea here is like there's 2 that are really good that I really like. One's called, actually, before I even get to that, I should say the good idea of minigames as a whole is that they have this thing called the Decathlon now. And it's this cool concept where you play all the minigames back to back, and then you have a universal catch-all high score that goes on the leaderboards. It's what the Mario-thon in Super Mario Party tries to be, but better done. Because Mario-thon, you do some minigames, you put a high score up, but they shuffle the minigames. There's 10 they choose from, there's 5 you get to play in any given round, and there's like 50 in Mario or 100 in Mario Party as a whole, right? This one, at least, for the Decathlon, they give you all the games available, and you're guaranteed the same order and the same games that can actually work to like improve your score on those and not get caught in like a weird shuffle mode of sorts. So that they're doing right. But the minigames, same problem. The good ones that were, I guess, introduced in the original Banana Blitz and are still good here, there's 2 that jumped out to me. One is called Seesaw Ball. It's basically pachinko mixed with side-scrolling 2D monkey balls. So you have like seesaws, and your little monkeys on them.
I'm sorry to imagine it right now.
Yeah. And then you can tilt the seesaws, and then he'll slide different ways, and you can collect bananas as you go down. And you can affect how he goes along the way. The other one is called Dangerous Route, and this is also kind of a riff on the main game. It's a top-down monkey ball. So you're controlling, what's different here is you're controlling the ball, not the stage tilt, but you're still in a little winding path, top down. There's a little arrow showing you which way you're rolling at any given second that's kind of in front of him. And then you just need to reach the end. But what's kind of cool is like not only is it top down a little different, but the inertia is slightly different too. So it actually has different physics, which makes it different enough from regular monkey ball. That's kind of like a nice extra, but still familiar enough that it meshes. But the rest of the games are a bit of a mixed bag. There's a snowboarding one with some kind of loose controls, which are whatever. There's a whack-a-mole game it's whack-a-mole. Like, it's literally whack-a-mole. And then there's this weird hovercraft one where, like, if a hovercraft wasn't slippery enough to control on its own, they put it on ice and made it slipperier. So your goal is to hit flags by using a combo of stick movements. So, like, both sticks forward, it moves forward. Both sticks back, it moves back. One stick up, one stick down, it'll turn left. Vice versa, it'll turn right. But I found it basically impossible to hit the flags. Like, the first time I did it, it took me like 6 minutes. Maybe I just suck at video games, but it took me like 6 minutes. And the game's like, your score is 0. And I'm like, yeah, that seems about right. So that one's not great. But the big bummer for me, which is why I said is the cardinal sin monkey target, is they changed monkey target. And monkey target is the single best thing Monkey Ball's ever had, in my opinion. I love monkey target. And the physics in this one are different. They're like kind of clunkier, I guess. And it now auto shoots the monkey out of the cannon. So there's still multiple islands you can land on. For those who have not played the original game, how it basically works is you launch a monkey, you're flying through the air with his ball open, and then you close the ball to land on targets that are on different islands scattered about. And in this one, there are still multiple islands you can land on, but you can't aim where you want to go exactly. Because the old one, you could pick how you launch off the ramp, and that could affect which island you go to and your speed and some other stuff. This one is just a cannon, and off you go. Which is fine, I guess, but it's just harder to do what you want to do.
Seems less monkey ball-y.
It's less monkey ball-y. I found my muscle memory totally failing me because the physics are different. Like, I kept, like, missing the island, like, just falling flat. Because, like, literally, the physics are way heavier.
Do you control the power of the cannon?
Nope. It's auto-firing.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not, like, bad if you haven't played the better monkey target, but it's noticeably inferior if you have. And I think, in a nutshell, that sums up this entire package. Like, it's not bad if you haven't played the GameCube Monkey Balls. There's a lot of good stuff here in the core levels, I think. I don't mind jumping. Take away the boss fights, you're getting a good however many dozens of levels. There's some decent minigames buried in there. Plus, like, I do like the leaderboard element. It's a nice touch. First time that the game's ever had that. It's a nice throwback to the fact that the game started in arcades where leaderboards actually matter originally. But yeah, if you played the older games, you know they can do better.
What is the price of this game?
So that depends. Right now, for the holidays, you can get it anywhere from like $20 to $30 at like Target, Amazon, Best Buy.
Not bad.
And like, yeah, at that price, like the core levels can be fun. Maybe that's worth it for you.
What
but
if I only
wouldn't
collect
pay
this
the
game
full
digitally?
40. I don't know what's going for digitally. Probably more.
So we'll just go with 40.
Sure. If you get it physically, you get little stickers. I got stickers of Ai and Gongon and Baby and Mimi. Actually, no, I got 2 stickers. I take them back. But yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like, discounted. I got it discounted, and I'm okay with that price. I'm still enjoying enough of it, but there's other problems. The one reason to maybe buy it, or at least the one that Sega's now giving as a sort of weird like preemptive blackmail almost, is
$40 on the eShop.
Okay, there you go.
Whoa.
But yeah, the sort of like preemptive blackmail, for lack of a better term, that Sega's giving is if you buy
$4, I guess.
you get $4 for so it's $36. But anyway, if you buy Monkey Ball, this remake of Banana Blitz HD,
right,
they may remake the good Monkey Balls. That's what they're saying. Like the game's producer in an interview with Crunchyroll said, and I quote, "And of course, I am aware that the most favored titles are the first 2 games. If there's enough support,
I'm aware. That's why I picked this one.
If there's enough support for Banana Blitz HD, this will open up doors to remaking the first 2 games, or even a whole new title in the series."
I mean, does it look significantly better, or was it just straight up port visuals wise?
It looks clean. I played it exclusively in handheld.
Because I'm guessing the GameCube, they would probably definitely have to put more work into them.
Probably.
So.
I mean, this is definitely the Wii one just smoothed out. But it worked. The aesthetic works for Monkey Ball. It's totally fine. And it looks great on like the handheld version of, when you play in handheld. I actually have not looked at it on TV now that I think about it, which is weird. I usually try and play all my Switch games at least once on the TV. I'm definitely a handheld first guy. But anyway, assuming he's being sincere. And
I'm sorry, you said he was the director?
Producer.
So I totally believe this guy. I bet you that this guy would love to bring 1 and 2.
Yeah.
It's just Sega. That's
and here's why. Banana Blitz, and I said this when they announced the game here on the show, but Banana Blitz is by far the best-selling Monkey Ball because it was a Wii launch title. So it got to ride that wave. And that's why they picked this one, because it had the most... The market indicated it was the one. Listen,
but that's like James Cameron going crazy about Avatars 2 through 5.
Yeah. But Kevin,
It's
Avatar 2 is the most
zeitgeist.
ambitious dive movie that has ever been made, according to a quote I read this afternoon.
That movie
Most
is going
ambitious.
to bomb.
Considering that Avatar Land or whatever it's called down in Disney World is not doing that hot, yeah, you're right.
There's no way that
People saw Avatar because of the visual spectacle that was at the time. It was the first movie of its kind that did that 3D that well. It was very lush. It was very rich. No one watched it for the plot. Can anyone name a character?
Jake Sully.
Oh, well, okay.
I think
can't
that's
name
what
a character. All I remember is really cool. Pandora as a world was really cool, and they did weird stuff with their hair. That's literally all I remember.
And they were looking for unobtainium.
Which is the dumbest name for an unobtainable substance.
Is it the dumbest name, or is it the smartest name?
Well, no. I mean, if they're trying to obtain it, then it's definitely attainable.
Yeah. It's not unobtainable.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean,
Man. But yeah,
maybe it won't bomb, but that move's not going to make as much.
It's not going to make as much as it'll do. Okay, like literally okay. It'll probably like break
do
even.
1 billion.
Do you think that he will continue?
The problem is they're already filming the others.
Are they?
Yeah, they're filming 2 and 3 back to back.
Did you see the crazy titles that leaked?
No,
those movies?
please tell me
they're terrible.
Is what called unobtainium?
And James Cameron is saying that no, those aren't the titles.
What are the titles? I'm gonna look them up.
I think this one was supposed to be subtitled "The Way of Water."
Oh god.
They're horrendous.
I mean, you could tell that he was inspired by Dancing with Wolves for this entire thing. I mean, Way of Water, Dancing with Wolves, those go hand in hand. Oh, here we go. Got him. It's loading. I spoke too soon.
Oh.
Well, anyway, while this loads, I'm just gonna. My final thought on Monkey Ball is if the producer of the game is serious that if there's enough support from Banana Blitz HD, they will remake the first 2. I changed my review entirely. Everyone go buy it immediately. It is worth all your money because it means real, proper monkey targets coming back. So, with that said, it has now loaded. Avatar: The Way of Water. Avatar the Seed Bearer, that's gonna get some spoofs. Avatar the Tolkien Rider, and Avatar the Quest for Iwa.
The Quest for Iwa?
EYWA.
Unconfirmed, but if somehow
it's
those
coming
names
from BBC. It's real. BBC News is reporting this.
But I think they came out and said like
They might be working titles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, if those are working titles, Jesus Christ, those are
Seed Bearer,
terrible.
The Way of Water, the Tolkien Rider. Wait,
The Tolkien?
yeah,
I think
like
Tolkien.
it's spelled differently than JRR, but like, and then the Quest of Iwa.
Kind of a side note,
I needed to say it twice.
My sister just went to Disney World not too long ago.
It's very cool.
Yeah, like she was telling me how like awesome. I mean, like I'm guessing. I mean, I've heard that Star Wars then is also bombing, but like I'll get to Pandora first. But like the stuff that like she showed me on her pictures and like her videos,
No,
like it looks like some of the animatronics there like look amazing. So yeah, I'm sure like it's not as exciting to go to, but I'm kind of surprised that Star Wars Land, I guess it's also or whatever it's
Galaxy's
called.
Edge.
Galaxy's Edge.
Apparently that place is like a wasteland.
So 2 things. One, Pandora. I have also heard is very, very, very cool. Like it apparently is really like you're on an alien world, which is awesome that they did that. But the Star Wars is not doing well because Disney was so effective in stay away. It's not like it's too crowded that their research has showed that people just stayed away because it was going to be too crowded. It was that and the fact that they rolled it out in 2 phases because they have 1 ride right now and they're going to open the 2nd ride, the Millennium Falcon ride, in like January. So a bunch of people are like, "Oh, Disney says it's packed and it's not even done. I'll just wait." That's supposedly what's
Do you
going
think
on.
they were hoping for like oh man, if all these people think they can't go as soon as we open it, they're gonna want to rush in?
I think they thought the blowback of the complaints about the waits would be worse than the lack of people going, but they didn't expect so many people to be like, "It's cool, I'm over Star Wars."
They also don't let you like just have your lightsabers out too. Yeah. They tell you to put them away, which is like
you pay like
come
over
on.
$200 to like make it. I mean, yeah, they put on a show for you, which
I've heard that's super cool.
Yeah,
One
like
of my coworkers did it.
Like it
It's
helps with
super
the
cool.
immersion and stuff, but then it's like, all right, put that thing away.
Yeah.
We don't want to
Yeah.
do that.
But to be fair, it is I think like a bunch of not what am I?
Oh, what do you think is gonna be
Stormtroopers, like like ask you to like put it away.
Yeah,
Still
it's somewhat in character for them because it's a training outpost. It's supposed to be a training outpost, and Jedi's don't walk around with their lightsabers at training outposts.
If I were Jedi,
if they were real.
Yeah. Okay.
No, you need to like have some decorum.
Maybe you've heard of this, but like, were they supposed to have like droids walking? Like, I heard they're supposed
Yes,
to be able to like buy your own droids. And
I don't know about buy your own, but there were going to be animatronic, like remote control ones that walk around and interact with people. And I think they're still coming.
Well,
in
because
the
like in
second
the
phase.
make your own lightsaber, there's like another like make your droid thing. Because I remember my sister, because she also went to that.
Right.
She they were teasing like, oh yeah, these droids like will be able to like go with you at the park and tell you about stuff. And they're like, oh cool, can we do that? Like, oh no, not yet, and they won't like. That was like all they.
Yeah, no, it's I think it's phase 2. I don't know if they're actually gonna walk around with.
I wonder if Nintendo World in Japan will have like some kind of like build your own something that you could keep.
Build your own shrooms. I don't know.
But when are we going again?
2021. It opens
early.
next summer though. It opens next
Cannot
summer.
wait.
2020. You know what's funny is the Hollywood one's gonna open around the same time. I think so. It might be moot to go Japan.
I mean,
China.
we're going to Japan just to go to Japan.
No, 'cause we were originally going to Japan to time it with Nintendo. Like if Nintendo's opening here at the same time, we could just go to Japan whenever. Like it doesn't. We could do it sooner. But we'll figure it out.
Well,
we can't. We cannot go sooner. Especially we cannot go next year.
Actually,
yeah, it was because of the Olympics. It was just
Right,
it was just
right,
to avoid the
right.
Olympics,
Yeah,
and
you're
also
right,
because my sister and some of our other people that are going haven't gone yet, and that's
Right, I know
other
she
people.
wanted to do sooner. Anyway, we're way on a tangent. Point is, Monkey Ball. It's okay, but like, Monkey Target needs to come back.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So the other thing.
Since you did just we're playing, should I just talk about mine?
That's what I was about to say. The other thing I was going to bring up is
Day and night.
Oh, you want to do day and night? I thought... No, actually, hold on.
Toss and turn,
Let's save
keep
that.
stressing
Let's
in your
save
mind.
that. Let's do... The reason I'm saying let's save that is... Actually...
Ring Fit Adventure?
Yeah, do Ring Fit Adventure first. So, if you don't mind, it'll make sense later. Because I don't want to have you do day and night, and then we announce the contest like half an hour later.
Oh,
They're
gotcha.
tied together.
All right. That makes sense. That makes sense. All
surprise,
right.
everyone. We're giving away day and night. Spoiler.
We are?
We have 3 copies to give away.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
not-
I actually did surprise
That was a
someone.
nice surprise.
That was a nice surprise. But anyway, while I was playing Monkey Ball, while we're talking about older games that have been out for a while, you've been playing Ring Fit.
Yeah.
Your post-Thanksgiving, everyone's now interested because everyone got fat over Thanksgiving and needs to work it off. So how is Ring Fit, in your opinion?
Yeah, so I've been playing it for a month now. And I won't say how long Jason played because for some reason it actually tells you exactly how long like everyone else has played.
I'm really bad about it. I played for like a little bit and I just stopped.
Yeah, a little bit's an understatement, but...
An understatement, thank you.
Oh, no, fine, an overstatement.
No, well, good.
Yeah,
Anyway, keep going.
you know
Keep
what I
going,
meant.
Yeah.
But, yeah, because I was curious. Well, anyway, I really like this game. Like, man, this game kicks your butt. And maybe that's because I'm just playing on the hardest difficulty. Because, I don't know why, like, I'm terrible at, like, gauging how much I'm supposed to do as far as, like, oh, how many reps do I need to do? Like, how much weight do I need to get? And I know, like, you could figure that out. You could just, like, see, like, what works. But with this game, because, like, the fitness ring isn't super heavy, like, it just has that resistance, it kind of feels like, well, I guess I should just be doing enough until, like, I get really tired. But I don't want it to be too easy. Like, you really... I mean, I know, like, you have to feel the burn.
What's your level you're at?
30? Like, like... Progress,
no, I meant
30, yeah.
Okay, I did like, well, you know I did. You saw it on the thing. I think I did like 13 or 14, and I was tired. So I don't know what that says about how out of shape I am or how in shape you are, but I just feel like I need to say I'm less than half of what you are.
Well,
whatever that means.
Let me tell you, like, I guess, like, what the level difference actually means, because I've seen, like...
intensity.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, like in game, like, how it transforms...
It makes the sets longer.
Yeah, so, like, it's kind of crazy, because, when you do, like intensity 12, like, did you get to do squats?
I've done squats. No, all the moves are the same. It's
No, I know.
frequency.
No,
Yeah,
I know.
I've done squats.
Yeah, like how many reps did you have to do?
Okay, first of all, squats are like the first thing you get to do. I have played the game. I talked about it a month ago. Give me a little credit. I think it's like...
I'm giving you a little.
A little. Barely. I think it's like... Might have been 10 and 10 or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe 15 and 15?
Yeah, so...
Might have been 15 and 15, or 12 and 12, or somewhere around there.
All right, so...
How many do you have to do at 30?
Yeah, it's like almost 40. So, yeah, like, pretty much, like, that's kind of the big difference. And when you're doing, like, those squats or any of those exercises, like, you take off, like a sliver, like, even, like, almost nothing, like, of all these enemies. And it's kind of crazy. Like, the first enemies you encounter, just, like, doing the first, like, world, which is just, like, 3 levels, like, takes like a lot out of you. Like, you definitely, like, unless you're already, like, super fit, which I'm definitely not. Like, I do a lot of walking, I do a lot of cardio, so I definitely have some stamina, but for what I want Ring Fit training to do, like, it's definitely really helping out. And it's just awesome that, like, I'm really feeling like a big pushback. Like, right now I'm in this part, like, where I've unlocked planks, and I thought, like, all right, that's not going to be that hard. You know, you lay down flat. You don't even look at the TV. You can't look at the TV when you're doing the planks because you're facing down and you're kind of, like, lifting.
You're planking.
Yeah, you're lifting your backside, and then you have to pretty much look behind you. But between the Joy-Cons vibrating and the cues from your buddy on screen, like, you know exactly.
Your buddy, the ring.
Yeah,
it's a talking ring.
Yeah, like you know, like, when to go down, and man, like, those things are really tough, and you have to do so many of them. And I feel like halfway through, like, each exercise, like, halfway through, like, each attack, I almost have to take, like, a 10-second, like, little breather just because, like, oh my god, like, the legs are just burning so hard, the arms are, like, almost feeling like noodles. But it's so satisfying, like, when you finally, like, beat those levels. And I guess, like, as you go through each world, it is cool that you do unlock more, you know, power-ups. Like, after you beat the second world, you get the color coding ability, so that if you fight certain enemies, like if you fight purple enemies, you could use leg attacks to deal more damage to them. But even then, it doesn't do, like, a ton of damage to them. So, like, it just makes it makes defeating, like, the Goomba equivalent of this game go from like, I don't know, maybe like 3 minutes to like 2 minutes and 40 seconds or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, and over time, like, I guess every time you level up, you do get more attack, you get more defense, and that definitely does help eventually. Like, right now I'm in World 5 or 6, and now the little Gret enemies, I could finally take them out in one move. But usually when they come out, they always come out with they always introduce new enemies. There's enemies that take forever to kill because they keep healing themselves, and they take no plus damage from any of your attacks because they're color-coded black, which you get no advantage from. And yeah, the level...
I didn't know they introduced that later on. That's cool.
Yeah, they introduce like pretty much... It's like, your typical archetypes for RPGs. They have the healers, they have the projectile people. Like, oh man, there's some... Like, you fight Drago so many times, but every time, like, he just introduces this new move that just goes like, whoa, like that. Like, I can't play anymore after this, like, level. Like, sometimes, like, I have to leave Drago fights to their own session. Even if, like, it's only, like, a 13-minute workout.
Again, you are playing on the hardest difficulty in the game.
Like, there's one move that he did where, like, you pretty much have to, like, every time you block, you do the, like, the like, you press it against your stomach, the ab block. And for the most part, like, it's not that, you don't really feel a lot of burn. They say, like, oh, you're supposed to feel in your stomach. After you do a bunch of them, you do start to feel it. But you have to do a lot of them. But when you get to this Drago fight in particular, he does, like, this, like, hyper beam that you have to always, like, hold the ab block for, like, a couple seconds on the average enemy. But for this beam, I feel like you have... and you also have to squat on top of that for this, like, super ab block. And you're probably squatting for, like, what felt like over a minute. Like, it was just so hard and so long. Like, there were parts where I'm like, oh my god, I cannot do this. Because, like, you see, like, the meter filled up on the hold, and it goes so slow. Like, I mean, obviously, super satisfying when you do it, but it's really, like, it's very hard mentally.
Yeah.
Which is what I really like. And then, like, your Ring Fit buddy, I always forget his name. Ring. Is it just Ring?
I think he's just Ring.
Oh, I could have sworn he had a name.
Ringo Starr.
We'll call him Ringo.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, but Ringo, like, every time that you hear, like, his motivation, like, yeah, like, he repeats the same line over and over again, but I don't know, like, you remember, like, almost there, 10 more, 2 more, great. I don't know, like, you just keep
He's a good personal trainer.
I think I just yell at him. Shut up, let me focus.
But, yeah, it's just super satisfying, and then, like, just, you think, like, alright, you could just, like, make a bunch of, like, healing items and stuff like that, and you could, but all that does is just ensure that you don't have to redo the levels, because the levels are already so hard that, I don't know, you definitely get a good workout out of them. I've literally, since I've started, in total, right now I've lost 4 pounds.
Whoa.
Wow.
Like, since I started doing it, and I haven't really changed much.
You've been going for about a month, right?
Yeah, about a month.
Yeah.
And I haven't really changed much from my diet. Like, I still eat junk food and stuff on the same, like, intensity.
You just start doing this.
That's like the only thing that's changed.
And you do this every day, right?
Yeah, every day except on some weekends. Those weekends are, like, the only ones that I kind of miss. But what I actually really like about...
Cheat weekends.
Yeah, and, like...
Everyone's got them.
I mean, historically, like, I've always been, like, I always start working out, and Kevin knows because, like, we worked out, like, for, like, maybe a day or two.
We worked for a day.
Like...
This is really good proof
Hey, man, those pull-ups suck.
No, I know, the pull-ups with the burpees and the whatevers, and the squats and the everything. Like, I'll do, like, a workout session for, like, a week or two, like, with, like, a friend that, like, lives, like, close by here. Mm-hmm. But then after, like, the 2 weeks, like, something will happen, and then I'll just stop. And then...
But this keeps you going.
Nothing really, like, makes me feel... Like, I just feel, like, bad for a little bit. It's like, alright, like, I don't know. It's easy to fall off the train, and it's really hard to get back on. But for whatever reason, I guess it's because it's a video game, and I've just, like, we're all, like, gamers here.
He admits I'm a gamer. Okay.
Alright, yeah, you're right.
No take backs.
Yeah. Oh, well. So, yeah, like, this game, I guess because it's, like, part of the adventure mode, and because it's also a workout that, like Tip, the character, the dude without a face that, like, gives you advice and, like, helps you through the cooldown and the warm-up. Like, he's always saying, like, oh, like, good job, like, coming every day, and blah, 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 and... I feel like, oh my god, it's only like 10 minutes, the game is right there. I guess because you're also at home, you feel extra guilty when you don't do it. Like, when we came back from Vegas, I don't think I worked out that Monday. And just because I'm like, alright, I need, like, another little break, I just, like, won't work out. But then, by Tuesday, like, I was, like, back on it. Like, I pretty much felt like, oh, I should have just done it, I could have done it. And I've never really felt that way.
About exercise?
Yeah, about exercising before, so it's definitely, like, really helping out. and just like being consistent. And the nice thing is that after I'm done with the game, however long that's going to take me, because I could only play for like 15 to 20 minutes at a time because of the intensity.
Yeah.
As I heard, it's like a 40-hour game, so Jesus, that's going to take a while. Like they have the custom workouts that you could do after. So after like going through all these, and I know I'm going to be able to at least pick, all right, you could create 3 loadouts. You could have a mainly leg one, an arm one, an ab one. And, I feel like I'm definitely going to fit into that routine just because it's just so nice and convenient to do it from home. I could just get home from work, do the workout on my TV. The music is catchy. It helps you keep into the beat when you're doing the reps. And I don't know, I've just been really enjoying it. The only other thing that I probably advise anyone, the game does try, like the levels are catered to like certain parts of the body. And I kind of ignored it in the beginning. I was like, all right, like they tell you, recommended fitness moves, leg stuff. And I'm like, all right.
Leg stuff? That's how they say it?
Well, I mean, just have the symbol of the leg.
No.
So I'm just like, all right. So just recommending that, whatever. I'll just take out the loadout I had. So I had like one like leg attack that just attacked one enemy. But then like every enemy was like, they were all leg monsters. So it took like twice or like 3 times longer than it would have if I only used leg attacks. Pretty much what they were saying is like, all right, we're like, this world or this leg of the world is like your leg day. This is your arm day. Leg of
the world. See what you did there?
This is your arm day, but...
Well, it doesn't. Like, you can do anything you want, but the game has structure to make it easier.
That's it. So it actually is good just to go with what they say because, it works out.
I will say, this is quite between my initial, here's the mechanics, and your month later, here's the exercise. This is the most holistic view we've given to a Nintendo project.
I really am surprised with this game. I remember when I first saw it, I'm like, it looks super gimmicky, but then when I started, just learning more about it, and then it was as fun as I expected it to be. I don't know. And
you picked a good... Well, actually, before I even say this...
I could wholeheartedly recommend to anyone that's just interested in getting more exercise and has a Switch, especially because even if, it's a good way to start, and it might get you to go to a gym or something, if that's what you want to do, ultimately, but I think you're kind of fine just doing this, and maybe, going on more walks or something.
And if you want to...
that resistance band is no joke.
And if you want to get drunk, take a shot or a drink every time some sort of innuendo is said over the course of his impressions. Because if you go back and listen to this, there's at least 5, especially around the squats. So just a fun game for you to play at home. But no, it's you actually bring up... It's a good time to bring the game back up because when I first gave impressions a month ago, it was more like, here's the gameplay side of it. But now, people that actually want to go out and buy it are going to be looking out for the reasons you're talking about. The actual exercise.
That's literally the only reason I wanted it.
Exactly. Yeah, I wanted it because it's a Nintendo game that's different. But, most people, I saw, this is anecdotally completely, but, I feel like there's an uptick in interest during Black Friday week and Thanksgiving week, same week, because, people, holiday food and whatnot. And when I was at Best Buy on Thanksgiving night, they had a whole display of Ring Fit, right next to the Switches. And I was like, oh, this is, it wasn't on sale. It's not, being promoted in their weekly ad or anything. But, it's a unique... It sits in a unique spot where it's beneficial and fun. It's a video game and an exercise device. It's a very unique thing.
And honestly, kind of to whole, Kevin's, not playing Witcher because he failed the quest. That kind of, gaming mentality.
Yeah.
Definitely helps a lot. Even just doing, performing an attack... if I, just to go back to the squat because it's easier, if you, bend down, about halfway, it'll charge it, it'll do the attack, but your hair isn't burning all the way, you have to bend down way lower, and then you get, the super, fire hair,
right.
and it's,
it's motivating.
Nothing, when you're doing squats in real life, when I was doing squats, in the park,
your hair didn't catch fire?
I did probably some correctly, I probably did most of them incorrectly, just because, I just wanted to get through them, all right, I did my 15, cool, on to the next one, but... Because, there's that visual, correlation between, all right, if I go all the way down, I'm going to get, the super powered-up attack. Need to make sure I get that all the time. Otherwise, you feel more accountable for yourself.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah,
and that's something normal exercise doesn't exactly offer. There's no visual cue.
Yeah.
Even if it's, on a treadmill, it's just you've hit mile 1. It's okay.
And it's really good. You really feel you're doing it right when you get the grade or when the fire hair because it's okay, now it's starting to hurt. Oh boy.
I'm really curious how many people...
My arms are sore from pointing up, just from doing so many
just now?
Well, yeah, my whole it hurts to cough because my abs are sore.
Again, you are doing the hardest difficulty, which is not a requirement.
But it's the most satisfying.
Yeah, fair enough. But no, I was just saying, I'm curious, to go back to how I was seeing it all over on Thanksgiving. I wonder how this... Like, what do you think? I imagine the long tail on something like Ring Fit's could be really good compared to some other games. Like Fitness Boxing, remember that? That came out at the start of the year. Nintendo published it. It's by, like, Imagineer or some other company.
Yeah.
And it's, like, just a bare-bones fitness game for Switch. 500,000 sold, they announced last week. For a game that, like, they never really promoted, they didn't really do much with. Like, imagine something like Ring Fit, where it's getting this huge push as a really interesting concept. Basically, everyone that plays it says it's super great for various reasons, whatever they may be. Like, you were just, like, raving about it for the last little bit. Like, imagine what that's going to do in the long term in terms of, like, for Nintendo. Like, that's... And for you, you get to be healthy, and for them, they get money, so it's win-win. But, yeah, I'd be curious when the NPD numbers for November come out next week. Same day as Game Awards. We'll cover them next episode, but I'm curious, like, if Ring Fit creeps up the charts or not, because it feels... Maybe January is the month it does, but it feels like this is on the cusp of blowing up to being a huge thing, because it's just really well done and does exactly what it needs to do in a really good way. Yeah. So, time will tell. What we do know, though, in the meantime, about sales, very small Jason Sales Corner. Nintendo, it's only because it's a big deal that Nintendo, they made a killing over Black Friday. They didn't, I now understand.
They murdered this time.
They murdered the sales charts. No, I understand why they didn't really do a real discount. Remember I was complaining episode 2 ago about how it seems like a missed opportunity to just reuse the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bundle. Well, good thing they didn't listen to me, because over Thanksgiving week, which was, the Sunday before up through the Saturday after, so through Black Friday, they sold 830,000 Switch units here in the U.S. Some of those with Ring Fit, hopefully. And I did the math. That translates to 1.37 Switch sold every second for the entire week. According to Nintendo, is the single best week of Switch sales in the console's history. And then I did some additional digging, and it's actually not just the best in the Switch's history.
That's what, 3 years?
2 and a 2/3. Yeah, about 3, just shy of 3. But it did better than any other holiday. It did better than launch. It's still kind of a big deal. But I did some additional digging where the numbers get more impressive, because it's actually one of the strongest Black Friday week sales a Nintendo console has ever had. The king of the crown is the DS and DSi, which as a double whammy 1-2 punch in 2009 sold over 1 million. But the Wii never hit this number. It maxed out at 800,000 in 2008. So at 30,000 difference, but still, you don't think of the Switch in the same sort of like realm as the Wii in terms of popularity or significance in pop culture or whatever, but it outsold the Wii's best Black Friday. That's kind of a big deal. And Nintendo's had better Black Fridays when you combine their systems. I think it was like 2010 or so, where Wii plus DS got like 1.5 million combined systems sold. But if you're talking about individual Nintendo systems, the Switch, like, that's impressive. That's pretty crazy that it sold that much. And the games are killing it too, like Pokemon Sword and Shield. 3 million copies in the Americas alone in about 2 weeks' time. And here's kind of an interesting stat. Mario Kart 8 is still the top-selling game in the Americas, in our region, 8.5 million.
Is that including the bundle?
I don't know. I'm guessing Nintendo does. But it's always been the number one. But what's interesting is, what's creeping up right behind it now? Smash Bros. Now the number 2 selling game at 8 million. Mario Odyssey, which was number 2, is now at 6.5 million and falls down to number 3. So, like, there's a bit of shuffling going on. Smash is really killing it. But the point here really is Nintendo's basically won the holiday season. Like, I'm not saying that like fanboyishly, but, a report from CNN was saying it's outperforming PlayStation, Xbox by a good amount, which does make sense. Those guys are in, like, their twilight years. This is their last holiday before PS5 and Project Scarlet or whatever it ends up being called. And over in Japan, the Switch just surpassed the lifetime sales of the PS3. So, between all that and the games Nintendo keeps pumping out and the buzz about the Switch in general, it's their holiday to lose at this point. And the crazy thing is December is usually the bigger month. So we're only in November and they're killing it already. So I'm kind of curious to see what December looks like. So yeah, well, next episode we'll have November's full numbers. In January we'll have December's full numbers, and we'll get a sense of, just how big Nintendo's going to be this year. Because this is their holiday season for sure. And, well, it's just kind of, like, cool to see Nintendo on top again. One other ace in the hole they have that's actually kind of interesting is they're launching the Switch in China next week with Tencent. They just announced that on Wednesday that they're releasing it, like, a week later. What's funny is, like, most analysts and market watchers predicted the system would get off to a very slow start. Even Nintendo themselves are saying, they said in their financial briefing in the Q&A that they expect basically nothing from it this fiscal year. Like, they're not really counting it towards any sales numbers or anything, but it seems like it's exceeding expectations. In China, where consoles are not really a thing, it had 100,000 pre-orders or interest expressed for pre-orders in 9 hours, which 100,000 is not a huge number if you think about like the population of China, but for like a new console in a country that doesn't really do consoles, that's pretty impressive. And it seems like why it's working, at least from what I've noticed, is they're really focusing on the social angle of the Switch. Like when we see Switch ads here, or when you watch like ones in Japan or Europe, they have the part where everyone's gathered around TV playing together, but they also like, oh look, he's playing Zelda on a bus, or he's playing Mario on a plane, and like, you know, it's a bit of like, hey, it's social, but also you have those console experiences you could play on your own on the go. The Chinese marketing does not have that at all. It is all strictly the social aspects. They're bundling Mario U Deluxe with the system at the standard $300 price, and every piece of advertising that they put out, social, because over there mobile games are the big thing, and mobile games are not easy to play socially at all. You're not gonna crowd around a little phone, or like, I guess you could do like a local wireless, but most games don't do that. So Nintendo's whole pitch over there is, hey, what if like you could all be playing games on kind of a similar sized device, but you could be playing with one another, or you could hook it into the TV and play it there. So we're seeing like Mario U Deluxe be promoted really heavily, Mario Kart being promoted really heavily. Ubisoft is supporting the system at launch with 4 games, almost all of which are social-driven games. There's Just Dance, there's Rayman Legends, which is fully co-op. There's a China-exclusive Rabbids game we talked about a few months ago, which is basically a party game. The only game of theirs that isn't multiplayer first or multiplayer-oriented is Mario & Rabbids. It's the best-selling third-party game on the Switch. According to NPD, it's in the Switch's life, Mario & Rabbids is number 1. So why wouldn't they bring it over at that point? But, like, it's kind of interesting to just see the slightly tweaked Switch message in China, and I'm curious to see how it does in the long run. But that's just another thing Nintendo's going to have going for them pretty soon. But that's all I had in terms of sales. I just wanted to throw those thoughts in there. The social thing I find very interesting. It reminds me of the Wii marketing. I mean, Nintendo does it here too, but like it's very much more like the Wii than how the Switch has been marketed here. Which brings us, Angel, unless anyone has any thoughts. I feel like I just kind of went on a little rant for a minute there. But, Angel, I think this brings us to the other game you wanted to talk about. That you're already sort of, yes, the Kid Cudi game, Day and Night.
Did they reach out to him?
I doubt it, because like those are just words. I mean, he doesn't have a copyright.
Seems like a missed opportunity.
Now, if it was called Day and at night, then sure, because that's the lyric. But it's just the words. They could have reached out to him.
Yeah, definitely don't have as much to say about this game as I did about Ring Fit. But that's not
I've been playing it too, so we can ping
no, well, I don't mean that like. It's just that it's a very simplistic game, but everything I do have to say like has pretty much been really positive. I'm just very surprised by this game, because usually, like puzzle games, like this one just has the right amount of depth that I like. Like it, at its core, it's pretty much just another stack 'em color matching puzzle game, but all its I'm just gonna come to terminals. They're not, but all its terminals are blocks. So at first you're like, okay. Like, that makes it a lot easier. They're just blocks. I don't have to worry.
The better analogy might be it's like Puzzle League, where all the squares are blocks.
I don't play Puzzle League, so I wouldn't have made that reference.
Okay, well, I'll make it for us collectively. Puzzle League. Think Puzzle League.
This is very luminous.
Actually, if anything, it's like, yeah, I guess I could have said it's, all the blocks are pretty much like Puyos, in the sense that, when you drop them...
Keep picking not square-shaped things. That's fine.
Well, yeah, because if you have... Yeah, it's like a 2x2 of Puyos. And the reason I say that is because when you drop the block, yeah, it rests all the way on the bottom. But if you have like one level up, or like 2 blocks already down, and you just put half the block on a, I guess, straight down. It
splits.
Yeah, it splits. They split.
Yep.
And you can use that to your advantage. You could rotate the blocks clockwise or counterclockwise. And what's interesting, or I guess what makes this one different, is that it's split into 2 sections: the day section and the night section. During the day section, all the sun and there's another emblem. All the green and orange colors are the ones that are active, and you have to match 4 to, destroy them. Hopefully, create chain. The blocks on the top fall down. The typical, like, match 4 puzzle mechanic.
Puzzle League.
The caveat
luminous. This is straight up luminous.
The caveat is that when you're in the day section, the night blocks, or I guess the purple and the blue ones, do not dissolve. They just stay
they gray
there.
Out.
Yeah,
they become like stones.
Yeah, they're pretty much inactive.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is that you can pretty much create combos while in the day section, with the night section coming up in mind, so that when it becomes a night section, as soon as it transitions, all the previously set night blocks will automatically start comboing into each other, and in theory, you could create this really long string that just combos on top of your other string, which feels very satisfying, and it's a really
cool touch.
And on top of that, you have weapons, or I guess like little like attack blocks that come out. Like during the day section, you have these seeds that will go to the other side and will start growing and like infesting other blocks. Or at night, you
essentially blocking him from being a combo, right? At that point.
Yeah, because like it's really cool. Like they have like this fire one that comes out at night that it starts burning one block, but then it starts burning the ones around it, and it pretty much makes them useless.
Mm-hmm.
And they have other blocks that come in, like you have these like stone, like I guess they're like metal blocks that will just crush everything below them. You could use them for your benefit or to your demise, depending on how you're careful. Yep. Then they also have ice blocks that create a row across the entire screen.
That may be the single most, and I'm not saying this negatively, but it might be the single most annoying thing I've ever seen in a puzzle game because it's so effective at basically freezing you out. Because, yeah, it literally, there's a line, and you can't make combos under that line anymore at all.
Yeah.
It just stops.
Yeah, you have to use other blocks to, like, pretty much fast fall down.
Yeah,
so
exactly. You have to bust through the ice.
Yeah, you have to bust it, which is a really cool, like, I've never seen that before.
It's really cool.
And then there's another one, too. There's, like, grenade. Yeah, there's bombs. So, like, you can either slow fall them, you can make them fall slowly so that they don't explode. But if you fast fall them, they will explode. So you could, make them fall slowly, position them later so that, it's like, oh, I'm messing up this combo. I'm just going to blow it up later with a fast fall. By landing on top of them. So there's like a lot of these like
sounds like there's a lot of depth to it.
For a puzzle game, it has the most layers of any puzzle game I've played recently, which is really cool because there's literally like I guess essentially three layers to any one match you're doing.
And on top of that, you have the typical like when you're comboing, you will send junk to the other side, but they have these meters on the side that let you like pretty much counter that combo if you create a combo of yourself during that time, but you have like a limited amount of time to do it. And then you also have there's like a burst mode. Like on the bottom you have this meter that fills up, and if you let it fill up all the way, you get to swap it to the night section or the day section.
That meter determines when the time shifts essentially. Whoever gets the meter first will trigger the time shift.
So yeah, it starts off super like it really you have to do the tutorial.
Yeah, like, I mean, the tutorial basically holds your hand through, but you do it, because, like, even things like the time shift we were just talking about, that's a whole nother element, because when it switches, whoever switches the time basically gets, not exactly a head start, but an advantage over those who don't for a second.
Because obviously they see it coming. Exactly. I mean, because you could also, like...
No, but I mean, like, literally the game, like...
No, yeah.
Gives them a second.
Yeah, it flips the game board on them.
And it's just, like, it's cool. It's funny how...
It's one of those games that I really hope does well because I want to see what high-level play of this looks like because it could look really, really cool.
It looks really cool.
And what's funny about it is it's all hidden under a very kind of cutesy school play aesthetic, which, like school, like theater production, which makes it look like, oh, let's give it like a harmless little puzzle game. And then you start doing... What? Yeah. So basically what it is the day and night and the blocks and everything are supposed to be a stage set. Like I said, on stage. And then when you go to the story mode, it's all these kids acting out stage plays with silly plots about like Western sheriffs and stuff. And there's like audience reactions. There's like laughter and clapping and things. And then you get into the puzzles, and it's like this actually like surprisingly deep, kind of intense at times, multi-layered thing. And it's just like it's kind of like the aesthetic works for it. Like the stage, like the kind of stage play setup for the day and night is really cool. It makes like the way it flips over and things rotate and stuff is really cool looking.
Yeah, the sound effects they have like really solid. Like everything is just really nice and polished.
Everything's really well done. And it's just I just love that it kind of leads you into a false sense of security by being like, oh, it's like this like simple enough thing. Like the aesthetic works for it. It's just like, oh, look how like cute it is. And then you're playing, you're like, oh wow, there's a lot here.
I mean, like there isn't really much to unlock. I mean, it's kind of like Tetris. You get that game you have to play alone. You play against computers. You play against other people. Yeah, you get to unlock costumes for your character.
Hats. They love hats. There are, I think, 30 hats.
But
10 characters.
But if you want to like mix it up more, there are these things called dares, which are pretty much just random challenges that are really interesting. Like one literally flips the board upside down. It's like, oh, I dare you to beat me while playing upside down. Everything's upside down. Or you could play the game where everything is super fast. Or what was another one? They had a bunch of really crazy ones, but
they're really creative.
It's like the remix. Like they completely like mess with the rules. So.
And again, I know I keep focusing on the aesthetic, but I just love that like that fits the whole like because it's a bunch of elementary school kids. It's kind of the premise, and of course, an elementary school kid would be like, oh yeah, but I dare you do it upside down, or I dare you do it at double speed, or and it like totally makes sense, and it fits really well. Like this game was definitely a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
And is there anything we're forgetting?
No, well, I mean that's
I think that's about it. Yeah, I mean it's $20.
I don't think it's online, but
it's not. I wish it had online. That'd be cool if they do an update with online.
But definitely a game I'd want to play with like some people locally, so that works.
It does have local versus, so there's that 2-person. But yeah, the perhaps the pleasantest surprise of it is, well, it was a surprise, so you made me spoil it half an hour ago. But we are giving away 3 copies of the game, so we should say up front, Angel and I both got copies of Day and Night courtesy of the publisher or developer. I don't know which one of them. Thank you guys. And they also gave us 3 copies to give away to listeners. So.
Question.
Yes.
Can I be part of this contest?
You, as an entity associated with Rand Nintendo, cannot.
Yeah. Wow.
But Rand Nintendo staffers are not allowed to partake, but listeners are. So
Where's the website? It doesn't exist.
But
I just need 2 me's up there.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if it's you. I'm just saying, if you go in a browser through a VPN, I'll never know. And then you
No,
okay, don't actually do that. But yeah, for you guys listening, we do have 3 copies to give away. It's definitely worth entering because it is a really fun game. Or to just go, you could just go buy it like with money, with tangible.
Yeah, support the developers. This looks like a really cool game.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So what we're gonna ask you is, if you want to win one of 3 copies of Day and Night, go to the blog for this episode, the blog post, episode 217, Mixed and Matched. Scroll down, and in the comment box, tell us your favorite puzzle game. Because what Day and Night does is it mixes and matches. It's a lot of different puzzle game elements from a lot of different games. There's, the Puyo Puyo element, the Puzzle League element. There's a little hint of Lumines in here, or Lumines, as you were saying. So, there's a lot of inspiration for puzzle games in here. So, what's your favorite? And who knows, maybe your favorite matches up with this perfectly. And then we'll choose 3 winners at random, and next episode 218, we'll announce the winner. So definitely tune back in on December 22nd
when that episode drops,
for that.
Blocks.
Yes, exactly. But I feel like it's only fair, if we're talking about puzzle games and favorite puzzle games, we should probably tell them ours, right? If we're going on about how good this puzzle game is and how we want to hear theirs. So what are your guys' favorite puzzle games? Or do you want me to go first?
Go first. Go first.
Okay, well, honestly, end of the day, it used to be Puzzle League, Pokemon Puzzle Challenge specifically, for a long period of time, but I really, between Tetris TS and Tetris 99, weird twists on Tetris is kind of my little subgenre.
You gotta pick one game.
I think Tetris 99 is the ultimate one, but I do want to point out that there was an era of the DS lifespan that had some really good, weird puzzle games that you don't really see anymore. All the puzzle games these days are blocks falling.
What was that one called where you have to flip between white and black?
Yes,
blocks?
that's one of the ones I was going to bring up. So there's 3 on DS that I feel like deserve a shout. There's Polarium.
Oh, Polarium.
There's Magnetica, and there's Meteos. So Polarium is what you're talking about. You had a tile grid of black and white blocks, and you had to draw a line to flip them all to be the same color per row. And it got obviously more complicated as you try and draw lines that don't interfere, and if you try and do it all in one stroke, and da-da-da. And it was actually a really cool game. I got for $5 at Circuit City. It was one of the best $5 I've spent on a DS game. And yeah, it's just really good. And you want try. It gets obviously more difficult as you go, and there's 100 some odd stages. It was tricky, but it was good. So that was number 1. Number 2, I watched Shadows with Magnetica, which I never would have bought. It's essentially Zuma, but by Nintendo. But back in the day when Nintendo was a daily blog news site, Nintendo actually gave me copies to give away on the site and gave me a copy to play. And man, what a pleasant surprise that was. Very much like Day and Night. It's like I don't know what to think of this just glancing at it, but whoa, this is actually really good. Magnetica was basically Zuma, but it was just the presentation was really good. The idea of you guys know how Zuma works, right? The spiral marbles.
The one with the fog in the middle or whatever.
Yeah, so it was that, but it was all touchscreen driven with the stylus, which at the time wasn't that common. Even Zuma wasn't, it was like a mouse or something, but it worked really well. I really, Magnetica is a game I kept going back to for a long time for no real specific reason. It was just it's just good for a 10-minute here, 20-minute there thing. And then, of course, there's Meteos, which I think all 3 of us have probably played. Meteos is cool. Meteos is probably the most traditional of the bunch, but not quite, because the blocks are falling down, but then you're pushing the blocks back up, and then you kind of have to deal with that balancing act and launching the blocks and everything. And, then there are things that could speed up the blocks and different strengths and that. So, yeah, those are a few of
And do you know who designed that game?
The guy behind Luminet.
No, so
Sakurai.
Sakurai. Yeah.
That's right. I don't know. I can't believe I got those mixed up. He worked with
Tetsuya Mizuguchi.
Yeah. Didn't they together do Meteos?
They did Meteos, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, those are all some good classic ones to check out, too. But Tetris 99, I think,
Tetris 99 takes the cake for you.
Is the cake. Yeah, it might... Next episode, we're probably going to be talking about our games of the year and stuff, because it's our last episode of the year. It might be in the running for game of the year for me. I love Tetris 99. But anyway, what about you guys?
Me or you?
That's a tough one to follow up.
Well, I only picked one.
No,
I
yeah.
just talked about some other cool ones.
No, yeah. For me, even though like the game I beat this year, I definitely have to give it to Layden vs. Phoenix.
Interesting twist on the puzzle concept, but still accurate.
Well, the Layden ones are. I mean, it's a visual novel sort, but I mean, it's still kind of a puzzle game. You have to like look for clues. I mean,
Brain teasers.
yeah, they're brain teasers, but the Layden side is definitely the more puzzly side because that game got me into the Layden side, the Layden series. Like before the game came out, I was playing through them, and I really love. I mean, I just love how like you get to play a little bit of every type of puzzle you can imagine. You have matching puzzles. You have like brain puzzles. I love those puzzles where like you have 8 people. Person 1 said this about person B said this about person C, blah blah blah, and I find out who's actually lying, even though it seems like they're all lying, and then you're like screaming at the 3DS for like an hour because you can't figure it out. You go to sleep, the next morning you know the answer right away. Like I don't know, I just love like those kind of like head scratchers, and Layden vs. Phoenix just combined both of those into one, which was like I couldn't ask for like something better. It definitely like scratched every itch. Like I mean, didn't need to have a great story because I love the puzzles in both, but I mean it did too. So.
Right.
Yeah, so definitely Layden vs. Phoenix.
Interesting choice. Not defying the odds, but bucking.
It's like I couldn't pick between the two, so I picked the one that had to.
It's not the typical choice I'm trying to say, but that's a good one. What about you, Kevin?
Probably an odd pick, considering it's not Nintendo related, but Catherine. I love that game. I love that game.
Say Nintendo puzzle.
if we're strictly speaking Nintendo, Tetris DS probably takes the cake for me.
That was my runner-up. Probably.
Yeah, that game is like such a complete package.
It's so good.
With the amount of content that there is.
And all the Nintendo theming.
Yeah. If it wasn't for those two, I probably would have also picked that one.
Yeah.
Like, they went out of their way to, like... Because they could have just been Tetris... Just regular Tetris on the DS.
Yeah.
Sure, but they went that, like, extra mile to put that nice Nintendo spin on it.
Spin, because Tetris. And if you think about it, before we get to your other one real quick, it might have been one of the first games Nintendo did that I can remember where they went all the way in on the 8-bit aesthetic and bringing it back. Yeah. They did not do that much before. They'd have little winks and nods. They'd have like, oh, it's an 8-bit Mario on the side of the track of Double Dash. Do you see him? But it was never like, oh, look, if you look at the battlefield, it's an 8-bit whatever. But they never like leaned in that was the start of their current obsession with retro Nintendo. Like the way they integrated in was just so perfect. It was all the different modes and everything, and how they were all themed around different games. It was really well done. Yeah,
that's man, that game.
But outside Nintendo, you said you had
outside of man, that's tough. It would either be between Catherine. I haven't played the enhanced edition that just came out a couple months ago, but either Catherine or Tetris Effect.
Tetris Effect is cool.
Have you played Tetris Effect?
At E3 in VR.
Oh man, that game is so special too. It definitely doesn't have, I guess, the touch of Nintendo.
Literally, because it was on DS. Literally, because it was on DS.
The way that I'm meant to say it, it's like
I know what you mean.
Didn't
have the Nintendo fine polish.
It doesn't have the charm of Tetris DS, but it has that charm that Mizuguchi, who we just talked about already, brought to that game. That game is less of a game and more of an experience. It's, to quote the youth, it's a vibe. It really it's like you. It's all like right. It's definitely Catherine. Forget everything that I said.
No, but you know I'm right. Like,
no,
it's totally like you're in it. And it's just like this weird spacey sort of like it's really. Well done.
Man, that game, especially like the last couple of levels, are so transcendent. Especially if you're playing in VR. Yeah, that's
and the way that in VR and the way that I kind of wish they'd bring it to Switch, but I feel like it wouldn't be the same. But the way it just sort of brings in the audio visual as you start doing better. It's really cool.
Honestly, that game needs 4K visuals, and unfortunately, the Switch doesn't do
that. And you I feel like VR bust for that one. Like you need the full sensory surround sound.
Not only that, but because it runs at a higher refresh rate on the VR, you actually play just a hair better too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But you know what this is making me realize is because we said games of quite a different variety that do you want to elaborate on Catherine actually?
Oh, for those of you who don't know, Catherine was developed by the Persona team, so maybe that's why I love it so much. But
explains a lot.
Basically, you're playing this middle-aged guy named Vincent Brooks, who isn't a fan of his life. He seems like he's at a crossroads with his partner, his girlfriend, and then out of nowhere starts having these nightmares where he has to climb up towers that are made up of blocks. Mm-hmm. And what you have to do is you have to pull these blocks from, like, let's say just a wall that's right in front of him. Let's say a 3x3, and he has to basically climb. So what you have to do is pull a block, and as long as the block is touching the edge of another block, that block will
not fall.
So let's say
it's not like supported.
Yeah,
by
let's say there's
you hear that sweet edge.
Yeah, and you hear the little guy goes edge. No, it's not a guy. It's a woman. She goes edge. It's pretty cool. But later on, of course, the game gets more and more difficult. There are different blocks that you have to be wary of. If there's a row of like ice blocks and you step on them, you will just slide across that entire row. And sometimes you can't catch yourself, and you can fall off this tower of blocks. Uh-huh. And there's just like a lot of strategies that you can do. There's this one thing called the spider where you literally have to spider along, like, oh man, it's so hard to describe.
Sounds cool though.
Yeah, and then aside from that, like that's a puzzle game with a story. Not a lot of puzzle games have stories.
Right.
I mean, like, the Lane series is all story driven.
Yeah, it's like narrative driven. I mean,
narrative driven puzzle games on one hand. I mean, Day and Night has a
barely
fair one.
Because without the story and the traditionally animated cutscenes, like you're literally, it would just be like 200 puzzles in one game. Like none of the puzzles are related to each other. They somehow make them tight.
That does remind me that like Pokemon Puzzle Challenge on Game Boy Color, which used to be one of my all-time favorite puzzle games, actually had a full story. You went through all the gyms, you fought all the gym leaders, you caught Pokemon. They're just all within the puzzles. Like there'd be Pokeballs on the puzzle field, and you would, if you match with them, later get a Pokemon after the match is over. It's really kind of cool. That's a more traditional game with a traditional puzzle game with a narrative element. While it sounds like Catherine is a little less traditional in that regard.
What do you mean?
Like it's less of a like a drop block falling puzzle game.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're still
doing with blocks, but it's also like
a lot of puzzle games deal with blocks.
And it's cool that there's like a version of Catherine inside Catherine that I guess you could use to practice.
Yeah, that you can use to practice. Yeah,
there's a mini Catherine.
It's like an arcade. It's like pixelated.
Yeah. The game basically takes place in two chunks. The nightmare, which is the puzzle part, and you just stay at a bar before the nightmares or these puzzle sections, and there's an arcade in there that basically has a version of the nightmares that you use to practice like your skill set.
Right. So
it's super cool. Yeah, it's basically training mode.
Interesting.
Yeah, but those also get ridiculously difficult too.
This seems like it'd be a decent fit for the Switch.
Yeah, I was really disappointed that they didn't bring that enhanced edition over to the Switch, especially because it doesn't seem, well, maybe.
Who knows?
Persona team is probably too busy handling
they're too busy putting projections up on city buildings. And
that
bomb threats.
Yeah, that was lame. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I mean, the cast of Persona 5 was at
the one here in Little Tokyo.
The one here in Little Tokyo, which I missed, but I mean, whatever. But Persona 5 Royal, March 31st, 2020.
Or if you're a Switch owner, get ready for Persona Scramble.
Pre-order to get that mask.
Still does not have a North American release date, but it's coming out February 20th in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. Get those import
playasia.com. Go.
Yeah, most likely. I'm sorry, what did you say?
You're pre-ordering it for that mask?
Yeah, I already pre-ordered the collector's edition.
What do you think?
He's like, I did within a minute. What are you talking about?
There's a really cool PS4 theme that came out in Japan that I don't know if it's the dynamic theme that you get with this pre-order for Amazon. I have to check that out.
Oh, for Persona?
For Persona, yeah.
I do want to say, though, like, I started to say this before you, but I realized you need to explain Catherine, but, think about the variety of the games we just talked about. Like, the puzzle genre, you always think blocks falling, but it's actually a pretty diverse genre in gaming. Like, it's not just Tetris and Tetris Attack. It's like, there's a lot there. It's kind of cool.
Oh, there was that other game that came out this year that I really wanted to get, but I never got, Baba Is You.
Oh, yeah, that's another, that's like a grammar, language puzzle.
Yeah,
where you complete sentences to do actions. Yeah, or even like you could argue Untitled Chapter game is somewhat of a puzzle game. There's a lot. It's a big genre. So point is, anyone listening, if you want to win Day and Night, apparently any video game is a puzzle game. No, but seriously, like it's
in a way,
yeah, in a way. But no, like favorite puzzle games. Like I was saying before, go to random.com. The blog post for episode 216, and is it 216 or are we 217? 217, sorry. And let us know your favorite puzzle game. And we also, while we're doing contest business, need to announce the winners of our previous contest, which was our anniversary contest. What we told you on the show is 3 of you can win a copy of Truck Racing Championship, one of which is inexplicably signed by the 3 of us. It's very explainable.
It's signed by one person and just has the names
Autographed.
of the other 2.
And it's autographed by the other
It's
two.
autographed. That's right. Yeah, mine's like, Jason, I'm 5. I just connect the block letters.
I'm gonna write the J like a normal J, and then the rest is like cursive.
It's just like scribbly. But anyway, we have to give 3 of those away. But what we didn't tell you at the time, because I didn't think of it until after, is the winner who gets the signed autographed copy. Like, your value of your game's way lower because we're on it.
Yeah, we're making...
So we're making it up to you. We are including
somehow losing money.
but we're including, to make up for that, we're including a $20 eShop gift card with that copy. So 2 people get the game sealed. 1 person gets the signed copy with a gift card. And we picked the winners. We kind of just randomly chose them. So our runners-up that get just the game...
I don't know how that's going to sound.
It'll be fine. The ones that get just the game are... I feel like I wrote their name wrong. Let me confirm this. Nope. Polka Potty and... Let me go back to my notes here. Polka Pie and Brent Hall. So, Hale, Hall. So 2 of you...
Say Hale Hall?
No. I was saying it was a Hale or Hall. Was it an I or an L? H-A-I-L or H-A-L-O? I did not know. Point is, Polka Pie and Brent, congrats. You both got a copy of the game. Your comments... We said comment, say whatever you want. One of you, Polka Pie, just got your Switch. So... Here you go, free game for your brand new Switch. And Brent made the good point that, so all those Pokemon Sword and Shield leaks we talked about last episode, it's not going to end well for whoever leaked it. And as he put it, the Nintendo ninjas go, it won't be pretty when they find them. So we got those cons. Then we got our grand prize winner, who gets the signed copy plus the $20 eShop gift card, and no drum roll. Thank you. And that winner is David Gustry, who told us that, here's what he wrote, and it's a very fitting win for guys getting a signed copy. Jason and his titles, LOL. There you go. Nintendo summed up in
Well, now you get Kevin
5
and
words.
his signature.
Yeah. Kevin and his bank account, because you can forge that thing. No, but...
Please don't, David.
But yeah, so congrats to you guys, and thanks to everyone who entered. We really appreciate you taking time to leave a comment, and enter the next contest. Like I was saying, day and night, you can win it. Just leave a comment.
Or don't.
Or don't.
Do whatever you want.
But episode 217, just leave a comment on your favorite puzzle game to make sure you don't miss out on who won or any future contests, because we do have at least one more before the end of the year. Follow us, subscribe to us. You can find us on Twitter at Ram Nintendo. You can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, where apparently 19 different countries listen to us, which is super awesome. Thank you for that. Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Pandora. We're on YouTube. Our channel is RamNintendo.com. Basically, wherever you listen to things, we're going to be there in your ears if you choose to put us there. So you definitely don't want to miss our next episode. Besides the contest wins, on December 22nd, we will be back with award season, the Game Awards. I'm going to be there in person. You guys, I assume, are watching in some capacity. So we'll have our thoughts on the news from it, on the winners from it, and then we're going to do our own awards for Games of the Year of our choosing. So yeah, should be a fun episode. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. And Kevin, final word as always.
I toss and turn. I keep stressing my mind. What?